to Athletics LLC with Lamar, Lucius, Big League Chew, and my man Clyde. You're about to be schooled in all things track and field. This is experience. Yes, sir. We are talking past, present, future. Y'all listen up. Let's go.
This meeting is being recorded.
We're recording now. Hi, everyone. It's Athletics LLC time. Woohoo! This is, so to note for the audience, this is the first time we're recording on our usual day, usual time, I think, since December. I don't know the last time we actually started at the prescribed time. So,
when did baseball season start for you guys?
yeah,
that's
seriously,
about right. Yeah.
Seriously. So, welcome one, welcome all to the six-ring circus for the night called Athletics LLC. We'll go around the tile, say hi, and then introduce those who don't know to the sixth guest tile. So, to the hungry man himself, Clyde, how we doing?
I'm eating petty fuel.
Oh my gosh, stop it.
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
Without a hesitation. That was awesome. Governor, how are you today, sir?
Doing well, doing really well. I'm ready to go. Let's get this off. This is gonna be a good one.
Right? Sir Lucius, how are you, sir?
You know, for the first time in like 3 weeks, I'm able to breathe. Eugene absolutely crushed my sinuses both times I was there, and this is the best I've felt literally in 3 weeks. So the fact that I have to go back out there in 12 days is not that exciting, but you know, we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out.
Relishing the 12 days while they are here.
Exactly.
Lamar, free Jasmine Moore Huffins, man.
Oh boy.
I think that says it all, right? That tells you what kind of mood I'm in.
Oh my gosh. So,
Absolutely.
last, but very, very much so, not least, we have our guest with us this evening. I think the one person who can actually tame Lamar in a sense, or very much trigger him at the very next sense. We have the wonderful Lindon Victor. How are you today, sir?
I'm good. Thank you guys for having me. It's about time I get on this show.
Wow. So you get a thank you,
okay,
a thank you, and a slap across the face at the same time. Okay,
well,
legend.
See, there you go.
I've been around Huffins too long. I've never liked it.
Oh my goodness. Oh, so basically it's about to go down. That's what I just heard out loud. All right. Well, a stance, a position that Lindon is familiar with, and it's a very, very, I don't even hot's not even the word, hellish topic, just because of the heat of it, the Bowerman nominees, or lack thereof. There wasn't a way that we couldn't talk about it, but I know that it's been overly discussed per the internet, per your coffee tables and text messages. So, you know, we'll let Lamar start off just because it's in his name this week. Not that we're freeing Jasmine Moore, but we're definitely trying to put her somewhere, right?
Yeah. First off, I guess let me say this before it gets spun. I feel like the committee did an incredible job with the three nominees that they actually, on the women's side we're talking about, with the three nominees that they put in chairs. I think maybe the most egregious thing done by any track and field governing body was not having Jasmine Moore's fourth chair in addition to the other three. Nobody needs to come off. This is not a normal year. Yes, I know that, like, you know, we're only supposed to have three, but when you have a year where you have this level of athletic greatness, those four people deserve to be, measured, voted upon. And I mean, look, here's the thing. any one of the four could win, and I could make a case for or against. So I don't have a dog in the fight in that regard, other than I want the fight to have all the correct combatants. And I'm just going to rehash my argument from earlier in the summer, or I guess last summer. If you have a perfect season and you're a field eventer and they don't nominate you for an award, then they're basically telling you that you need not apply. Like, I don't understand how you can possibly not have Jasmine Moore in contention for a Bowerman Award in a year that she didn't lose in a long jump or triple jump competition at the national meet or the conference meet. I don't get it. And I think that position is indefensible. And I'm going to bang on trash cans and yell from the top of rooftops and do everything I possibly can, probably to no avail. I'm probably punching air, but I want I want those young ladies to all understand that they at least got one loudmouth EP who says that this wrong needs to be righted.
I'm going to jump in here and try to be as concise as possible. Obviously, this is difficult for me because I don't want to fight so hard for Jasmine that I overlook not only just the other three, but the very special young lady from my program that is in one of the chairs. I have said for years that I think the Bowerman process is wrong. I think they think it's right. There have been people that have won the award before that we didn't agree with, and there's people that win the Heisman we don't agree with. But I think that in track and field, what gets this wrong is there should be an award for as Track and Field News does, the performance of the year, and then there should be an award for the performer of the year. Anytime you line up and do what Jasmine does, there's got to be an argument for her to be in one of the chairs, right? Look, there was other ladies out there that had incredible seasons. Miss Destin at A&M was pretty nasty this year, right? Britton Wilson, I mean, come on. So it's not just Jazz that's not there, that's not special, but Jazz was just extra special. But so the people out there that are thinking that I wanted somebody off of there, no, I did not. Now, clearly, Cam Rogers has done something incredible. She got the top 10 marks ever in the event. Clearly, what Abby has done this year has been phenomenal. Nobody's trying to take away from anything. And obviously, I have witnessed the greatness of Anna Hall on a daily basis. And as I shared with the EP earlier, the disadvantage that Anna has is that Anna can't do what she does every weekend, right? She can't do a multi every week. She can't do a multi every week. I mean, and then I think the EP said, well, she probably could, but like not at the level that that we need to. You know how the EP is. Oh, sure, she can do one, right? But at the end of the day, I think for me, I hope we learn a lesson here, and I hope that there's something put into place that allows for when there is a great year like this. Let's not forget about Favor O'Feely, who, I mean, I think 4 weeks ago, people thought she might be the Bowerman winner because of what she was doing to that point. So, there's a lot of young ladies out there that have been phenomenal. So maybe there's a caveat put in there to place that from this day forward, if there's this kind of year, you put 4 or 5 or whatever you have to do to put up there to make it fair to everybody. Because let's celebrate everybody is my thing. Let's celebrate the greatest of everybody. Because somehow, when we're going through this process, don't trust me, we're going to celebrate the hell out of Anna Hall, and we should. But it's kind of a slap to Jasmine, to Britton, to Destin, to Favor. I mean, hell, those 4 people could be in the chair. You could have a second Bowerman show and the 4 of them be up there, right? So I think it speaks to the greatness of the ladies this year. Kudos to them. Applause to them and all of their coaches. And like I said, I think that there just needs to be something set that when you have years like this, you can put more than 3 up there to do what's right for the sport.
I want to hear from the former Bowerman finalists.
Of course you do.
Well,
I can definitely speak from a different perspective from a lot of people. And I also want to talk about the men Bowerman finalists because I thought that the list.
We're gonna get
We
there.
will.
We're gonna get there. Stay in your lane, young man.
Well, we did. Okay. Anyway, yeah, I think I personally think that it's a tough decision to pick out of these four women. Is just like you can pick 5 different people, and 5 different people have a different finalist, you know. But I just don't know how you leave Jasmine out of it. It might like so I do track and field. I run, I jump, I throw, right? And to win, the thing is like I didn't think she was a favorite to win the long jump, in my opinion. And the fact that I knew that she was going to win the triple, but the fact that she won the long jump in a field where Tyra Gittens is there and all these other women, and Tyra Gittens was a finalist last year, and to win both indoor and outdoor national championship, that to me, like I expected her to win the triple, but the fact that she came back and won the long jump, that to me was really, really impressive. It takes a different type of person to take 12 jumps, you know, in a national title, in a national meet, and come back and win both of them. So the thing is with human, like a human judgment, everybody thinks different and everybody have their reason. Because I'm sure that these panel people have their reasons why they left her out. I just don't know why, in my opinion. But yeah, and that's not a knock from. I mean, what Abby did was just phenomenal, and what it's crazy. Like there's phenomenal and there's crazy, and what Anna did is just crazy to run the 400 hurdles at the national meet. That's ballsy. That's what I would say. Because yeah, there's a lot of things that could go wrong.
So we think you should have jumped in the 400 hurdles when you were in college.
Whoa.
Yes.
There's a lot of things that could go wrong, and the fact that she pulled it off was amazing. And I mean, what's her name did in to have the top 10 marks in the event, that's just that to me. So I don't know. I just don't know if we have 4 chairs. Like, when do we call it off? You know, like, what if a year if we have 5 NCAA collegiate record holders? Do we have 5 chairs and then we have 6 chairs?
If that's what's necessary to celebrate the efforts, you know, I mean, I think sometimes it's right?
Yeah.
And I think for me, okay, again, like you said, everything's subjective here. It's like what our thoughts and our feelings are. And I just sometimes think that the Bowerman committee gets caught up in performance versus the year, right? So there's been some people that have won the award because they had a phenomenal NCAA championship, right? And didn't do anything indoors. I've seen people on the final list that competed indoors, turned pro, and were gone outdoors, and they remained on the Bowerman list the rest of the year. So who's paying attention, right? So that's my thing here is like, let's learn from it. Let's make it better. People need to recognize that track and field is evolving. You know, we're on one of those, you know, we call it a learning curve with our athletes and with our children. And so there's a learning curve going on, and everybody's getting better. And so I think that people need to pay attention to that.
Is there a point system? Like if you break a collegiate record?
No, it's just basically you've got a panel of 12 people, and they get to rank their 1 through 4 maybe, or 1 through whatever, and then they get points based on where each of the 12 rank them, right?
So should it be like that? Like, okay, if I break the collegiate record, I get 12 points. If I win a national title, then I get 12 points. I don't know. To take off
but again, it's like, so then you could have somebody that shows up at the outdoor conference and national meets and do crazy stuff. But then how do you break rate breaking a national record above winning a national title?
Yeah.
You know, so I don't know how you do it. But again, it goes to the mindset of the people on the panel, you know, and clearly the people on the panel didn't value Jasmine's performances as much as they valued the others. I mean, I'm not ever going to bash the panel. Like, I mean, I know we want to sometimes, but you know, we live in a society where people's opinions are their opinions. And so this was their opinion. So I was trying not to, in my efforts, I wasn't trying to bash their opinion. I was just saying, maybe this is a year where you should add 4 or maybe even 5 chairs up there, because the women's field was that deep this year.
So, I'm gonna bash anybody's opinions that doesn't put somebody who doesn't lose one damn time in a year in a chair.
Yeah, for me,
Governor, what you got for us? Because that dude's fired up tonight. We're trying to keep him under control. Big league.
Yeah, so for me, it's I just look at it from one standpoint, and it's, again, I think when you have awards like this that are subjective, and you have a group of people that are making these decisions, you know, I mean, the Heisman, you can go down the line. There are all of these different awards that try to encapsulate someone's season, someone's performance throughout the year. So I'm looking at the list, right? And I'm trying to understand, okay, does it matter what the athlete did strictly from an NCAA standpoint? And I mean, what I mean by that is, are you just looking at it from dominating the NCAA, right? Because if that is the case, if you're looking at what Jasmine Moore did during the NCAA season, no brainer. Like, it just, there's no way you don't include her. You just, right? So when you make a decision to omit Jasmine Moore, are you saying that the athletes that are there are now going above and beyond NCAA, and you're now looking at their actual performances, and you're now equating what they're doing with the professional world, whatever? I don't think, you know, we you're kind of having two arguments at the same time, because there is a huge push right now, and there are these conversations that are talking about not allowing collegians. They should not be competing with the professionals, right? That is a real conversation right now.
We're gonna get into that bullshit later.
So,
yes, we are.
So again, are you equating the athlete against his or her peers in the NCAA? Are you judging the Bowerman on what an athlete has done during the collegiate season? If that is the case, it is slam, cut and dry. There should be no argument. We should not be having this conversation. So, you know, I know there's going to be a lot of hand wringing, and there are probably going to be a lot of conversations between now and when it actually happens. I think it's a shame for Jasmine to not be on that podium and not be on that stage. She deserved it. She did not lose. She dominated. Okay. That's all I have to say.
I have a question.
And before Clyde starts, let us be clear that here in Gainesville, we're done with this.
Yeah.
Right. We are getting ready for the World Championships. We have, you know, excuse my language, we got shit to do. Right. And we are going to support Anna at the highest level, because everything that Kareem just said about Jasmine, also applies to Anna, also applies to Cam, also applies to Abby, right? So I want everybody to stop acting as if we're not celebrating the other three, because we are, because they were phenomenal this year. And obviously I'm biased as hell for my girl. Of course I'm supposed to be, right?
Yeah.
You know, for both of my girls. And then, like, you know, everybody on the panel will understand this except for Lindon. You know, you're only as happy as your unhappiest child, right? And so when Jasmine's unhappy, she's like my child. But so I've gotta fight for Jasmine, but I also gotta, you know, promote and celebrate what Anna did this year, because it was incredible. Clyde, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Lyndon was about to say something.
Okay. No, I just had a question. Do you think that if Jasmine had jumped 7 meters, right? Just going back to what Kareem was talking about, like what are you basing it on? If you're basing it on dominance or what? Do you think if she had jumped 7 meters in the long jump, it would have been a different story?
I think that's a question for the panel. Yeah, that's a question for the. See, and again, like, because there's 12 people, you know, and there's 12 different opinions. So there's 12 different people on this panel who have their, you know, everybody has their favorite whatever for track and field, right? Because track and field is that diverse. So there's somebody on there that really likes the distance runner. There's somebody that likes to throw. Somebody like this. So it's going to get, you know, in there. You know, Tara Davis jumped 7 meters. She didn't win it last year.
All right.
Yeah.
So I'm going to bash the panel.
We're surprised. We're surprised.
Listen, is the panel published? Can I Google the panel?
I don't think so.
Right.
So I'll see.
So if it's Googleable, I would love to know that. Here's my issue. I don't like panels, but if we're gonna have them, much like college football playoff panel, you're put on the panel.
I knew that was coming.
Oh yeah, you're put on the panel.
I knew that was coming.
You're put on the panel because you're supposed to have not just an opinion, because all of us asses out here have opinions, right? You're supposed to have an ability to evaluate and properly, you know, in a professional sense, be able to explain your choices. So I don't like panels, and I also don't like when panels run from explanations of tough choices. My problem is this: if there was ever a year where the Bowerman could look at the field and, you know, take on some you know, communism and add a fourth chair, you know, that's cool. You know, you could do that because it's worthy. All 4 women are worthy of being on that stage. Period. End of story. And I, like everyone else, will echo that no one is openly advocating that someone get pulled off the stage and you insert Jasmine Moore. However, if you're going to be so, listen, the Bowerman's a TV show, okay? That's what it is now. You can be creative enough to shorten the little promos of each person enough to squeeze the fourth chair in. John Anderson can tell 1 or 2 less jokes, even though we love him. And we don't want that, right? Maybe you get the coaches to talk a little less. Maybe the video clips are a little shorter. I don't know what you got to do to make it fit your framework, but in this particular example, the only right answer is you have 4 chairs. But if we're going to be stringent and archaic and say, nope, it's 3 and that's the way it's going to be, and damn it, we're not breaking that tradition, cool. There's no metric that exists, no matter which side of this you want to argue, where the answer doesn't come out Jasmine Moore's on the stage. What we have all been told is that the Bowerman Award is the Heisman of track and field, and it is all about the NCAA season. So if you're into point gathering, Jasmine Moore wins. If you're into who won the most national championships, last I counted, the other 3 women on the stage won a total of 5 national championships, and Jasmine Moore by herself won 4. So if that's your standard, Jasmine's on the stage. If your standard is where their individual performances stack up in the all-time pantheon of NCAA, because remember, it's a college award. Last time I checked, didn't Jasmine Moore break her own national records this year?
I think she reset indoors, right?
Right.
Indoors, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, she's number one. Like everybody else is number one, as I understand it. Now, if you start getting outside of that bubble and you want to bring in extra context to break the ties, that's cool. I'm a huge fan of Cam Rogers. I worked on Berkeley staff. I didn't coach her. I'm not a throws person. But Cam Rogers is number 9 all time in the history of the event, not in college, in the world. So if you want to throw in that context to break the tie with the other 2 ladies, I'm with that. But it has to start first and foremost with the collegiate stuff. And Jasmine Moore is number 1. If anything, she should be the favorite to win, not off the stage. And the other thing that I found really, really interesting, and please, this is more so for Lucius because he would be the one to know. When Marquise Dendy won, did he not have basically the exact same resume that Jasmine has?
He did.
He went.
That was my favorite fact checker.
Yeah, like literally, even up to the fact that the only competition both of them lost it during their year was she lost the long jump at Texas relays, and so did he. That was it. And other than that, they were almost identical. Yeah.
Right. So Marquise Dendy his season is good enough to be enshrined forever as the winner. But Jasmine can't get on the stage. That doesn't make any sense to anybody. And my point is that they know that they screwed this up because they locked the comments, because they don't want to talk about it. If you're going to make that kind of decision, then you step out there and you explain it. And you take your lumps that way. You know, is Jasmine Moore a senior, sir? No. Okay. So the Gators can't have anything to do with this. So somehow, some way, I am promoting that somebody in the world not connected to the Florida program get that young lady an outfit and get her a plane ticket, and she crashes the stage in Colorado, and somebody just sit her ass.
It's in Orlando, so she don't need it.
I thought next year was in.
No, it's in Orlando. So
well, there you go. So you can drive on over.
Really?
Here's the thing. Here's I believe so. I think it's in Orlando.
It was supposed to be in
Colorado. Yeah.
It was supposed to be in Colorado. I would much prefer to go to Orlando. Crash the party.
Okay, maybe that's understood.
So I'm just.
But we're not crashing any party. Like I said,
no, not you. Not you.
Jasmine was not crashing the party. If Jasmine is there, if it's in Orlando, there's probably a possibility she'll be there to support Anna.
Because
we're going to support Anna. If it's Colorado, probably not so much.
It's in Denver.
I guess in Denver. Okay, so which means I will be there because my in-laws live there. So, and I will be there anyway because we will be there to support Anna with, you know.
And Lucius, understand. We all get your position, and you are class personified, and no one would expect you to be anything other than that. But the rest of us get to be petty and pissed off because this is some bullshit. It just is what it is. Listen, it is what it is. Again,
EP, you are muted. I don't know if you realize that.
Oh no, I muted myself for all because I didn't want to just pile on and say curse words. So
I need the committee to step out and explain how we landed here, because whatever combination you came up with, this is the only one that made 0 sense.
Well, see, and again, the explanation is there's a panel of 12. They rank their people.
Yeah.
They're assigned points for the rankings they get from the people on the committee.
Yeah.
And then they get a point total.
Right. So that means that of the 12 people, Jasmine Moore was not 1 or 2 on everybody's ballot, which is insane.
So here I have the breakdown. Building up the panel is consisted of national and regional media personnel, track and field statisticians, NCAA collegiate administrators, past winners and presidents of affiliate organizations, It is based on
Now the past winners don't get a vote until they name
pick
the
three.
final three. They pick the three, yeah.
And then so it is based on the players' regular season performances. Moreover, and this is the noted part, the USTSCCA members and fans collectively receive one vote during the Bowerman vote meeting. We actually just got that email 2 days ago. Per the ballot, on each ballot, the first choice is worth 3 points. The second choice and third choice votes receiving 2 and 1 points respectively. So as their ballots are submitted, this is how I read it. As those ballots are submitted.
See, I think you're talking about the final three.
Yeah, you're talking about once
about how the trophy is decided. Yeah. We're trying to talk about how the three are decided.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so then the panel of is that the breakdown? So that's all they give out.
Exactly. And so that's what I'm saying. I don't like panels, and if we're gonna have panels, then we need transparency. Because listen, if you want to build this award into what it has become, if this is the Heisman of our sport, the Heisman is supposed to matter. So if the Heisman matters, damn it, we need to understand how we arrive at these decisions. Again, whoever wins, wins. We're talking about, you could have just put another chair up there and no one would have complained. And your TV show would have still been intact. So
TV show probably would have been better.
Would have been better. Definitely would have been better. So I'm not feeling it. And now we can probably get into the men because I'm not really feeling that one
either. well, let's start with our guest as to what he thinks of the men's Bowerman finalists. I mean, having been one of those, sir, you are truly an expert, more of an expert than any of us on this panel.
I don't know about that, but yeah, I thought it was a really good feel. Me personally, I'm happy that we have a multi on it. Yeah, you know, I think all the guys had a really, really phenomenal season. You know, and I have a personal bias. I think that the women, you know, rightfully so, has all the buzz about it. But I'm really excited to see, you know, because I feel like the men, it's kind of up for grabs, you know, in a way. You have Owen, you have the hurdler from FSU, and you have the 400 guy. What's his name?
Randolph Frost.
Frost. Who all had like ridiculous seasons. So I'm really looking forward to that. I wish I had a vote for the first time, you know. I wish I had a vote for Bowerman because I'm really excited about that. I personally think that the committee did a good job with selecting these three finalists.
Let's be clear. We all know you vote for the multi.
Yeah. No question. No question.
Oh gosh, there you have it, folks.
Completely unbiased. Governor, what you got?
So I think I have an idea of where this is going, and I have an idea of who's going to win. I think, you know, when you look at this final, this trio, you know, things have been trending in a certain direction. I mean, and if anyone has been paying attention and reading about NCAA track and field on the men's side and who's getting the most buzz and that sort of thing, I think it could be a pretty simple. This thing could come to a pretty simple conclusion, right? And once again, you know, you look at that list and you wonder like, how did they come up with this list? You know, it is diverse. I love the fact, again, echoing what Lindon said. I love the fact that a multi-athlete is in there, a multi-athlete that set the NCAA record in the decathlon, and NCAA champion. So, Randolph Ross, obviously, he has, the last 2 years, I mean, he has pretty much elevated himself to the next in line for the 400. He's elevated himself to that. What's up, Clyde?
The last 2 years. What last year got to do with this year?
I'm talking about trends. Did I not start the conversation about trends?
My bad.
I did, right?
Oh Lord.
So I am making the argument, or I'm trying to say that this situation is a lot more about trends than the women's final three. So I'm going to leave it. I'm actually going to stop talking at this point. Because, once again, there are definitely some deserving athletes that are not on this list. I mean, I can talk ad nauseum about who should be there, all of this. But my answer to the question is that this has been coming from a long time ago. I'm just gonna leave it there.
At least the women's thing was difficult to ponder.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand how this one's all that difficult to ponder. Last year, Randolph Ross, phenomenal season, 100% deserved to be on the stage.
Mm-hmm.
This year, ain't no way in hell you telling me he's on the stage above Joe Fambale. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense at all. And again, it's about the collegiate season, right? Not
apparently so. Yes.
Okay, so they both won 2 national championships individually, right? Did either one of them break a national record? No. So if they both won 2 national championships individually and neither one of them broke a national record, how does Joe, his performances are more valuable because they were the number 1 contributing factor to the national championship? He's got the cherry. Trey, absolutely. Oh, A. Nowens, absolutely. And either one of them should probably win the award over Joe. But there ain't no way you're gonna tell me that Joe's off the stage and Randolph Ross is on. Not this year. The culmination of your career don't mean anything. If it meant something, then Edward Cheserek would be a Bowerman winner.
Oh boy.
Several times started on that.
Picking the scab, man.
It's not a lifetime achievement award.
And that is my angst with the Bowerman committee forever.
There you go.
And I realized that during the whole thing is like, I have never forgiven them for that.
Yeah.
I never.
Yeah.
The guy, he's won more NCAA championships than any man to ever walk this planet.
Yep.
And he was never the best guy.
I honestly, I think he was his freshman year. And they were like, he's a freshman. It'll be okay. And then the next 2 years, he wasn't the best guy.
Right.
Yeah, so that's my beef with the men. Like, the men wasn't really kind of complicated. To me, it's a very clear and cut top 3.
Yes.
Somehow we missed on that
one. And I think that the same argument we use with the women is probably what hurt Joe, because he didn't have the big indoor season, and the other 3 did. The other 3 were indoor national champions. You know, if you look at the national championships, he has the same number of national championships that all of them do, except for they all did it indoors and out, and he just did it outdoors.
Technically, that's harder.
Hey, I'm not on the panel. Don't shoot the messenger.
So per the qualifications, the Bowerman winners don't have to compete indoors.
Oh, really?
Or Bowerman nominees, they don't have to have a competitive indoor season.
Wow. And you know why? Because
you know why that is?
That put on there, they don't have indoor eligibility. Yeah.
Or, well,
Oh.
it's twofold. Some people don't have
You got
indoor eligibility, and some programs
or
don't
indoor
sponsor
events.
indoor.
See,
Right.
this is what has to happen.
See,
For the folks that are watching, you've got
so
to know
now,
this. Okay.
yeah, so now I'm a little bit less angst about, like, look, because look, Shakira Richardson had a phenomenal NC outdoor meet.
Mhm.
She didn't have a phenomenal season,
No.
right?
Oh,
Right. So now I get it. So indoors doesn't matter.
Wow.
So if indoors doesn't matter, then hey, look, maybe Joe should be on the stage.
no, I mean, I had this debate earlier.
You probably should have told me that.
Well, so let me, in the same breath though, did it then hurt him because he competed in an indoor season? You know what I mean? Like if you omit it, then it's
Well,
whatever.
hell with all that. Shoot,
Yeah.
listen.
Yeah. Okay.
Somebody
Look,
said
the
to me earlier-
man got hurt and he had COVID. Like,
Right.
so he was sick.
Yeah.
Again, a tie is a tie is a tie. We both got 2 national championships, and last I looked, it is harder. It is a more difficult accomplishment to go to the outdoor meet and win the 100 and the 200 at NCAA Division I than it is to win the indoor and outdoor 400. I'm sorry, it's harder. What Joe did was harder, and it meant more because his team got a trophy. So
Sir Lucius,
whatever.
Sir Lucius, in the history of the NCAA, how many athletes have won the 100 and 200 at the national meet?
Wow.
Do
I
we know?
okay. These are people that I know.
Okay.
Obviously Joe was the Texas Tech guy that just did it.
Yes.
Odaduru, yeah.
No.
Odaduru did it.
DeGrasse
DeGrasse did it.
Yep.
Yep.
He won it in 15. He won the 100 and 200. So someone else has done it. Man.
Because right now, this is all
Gatlin did not, right?
Yeah, Gatlin did.
Gatlin did it.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
you have
Gatlin
to
did.
be an Olympian, potentially a medalist.
I mean,
Laird finished second, right? Laird finished second. He didn't. He didn't.
200. He didn't win the 100 and 200.
Okay.
right.
Yeah. So
There hasn't been a ton of them.
Not feeling this.
I can't think of.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know who else has done it. I can't
Lamar.
think of anybody else. The LEP. Who else has done it? That's your wheelhouse. Lyndon, do you know
Oh, I mean,
anybody else? has done it?
prior to that, you're talking about you're going all the way back. Like I think Frankie Fredericks did it, but that was in '91.
Mm-hmm.
Did Otto do it?
Yeah, we're talking.
I don't think. I think he won one, but not the other.
I think
I
that's
don't
correct.
think he won the
I think
two.
that's correct. I think he won the 2 and Fall started in the 1 or something like that.
And I got third in the 100 because he false started.
So there
1995
you
in
go.
Knoxville.
Big Joe did something that only Olympians and half of them who move on to get medals are capable.
Exactly.
And yes,
I'm not feeling this one at all. Not at all. Sorry.
All right.
Yeah.
I can't find the answer to that. I'm
Let the
looking.
fans figure it out. Fans can send us a
Well, like I said, I think before that group, you're going to go back to, I want to say Frankie in like 91 or 2, whatever. They're 90 or 91. I think it was 91. But then but beyond that, you're talking about a long time ago then.
Yeah.
It's probably
And
100
it still isn't very many.
And why let's not ignore the fact that coming into the season, because of last year, Randolph Ross was the favorite to do what he did. Nobody, I'm not even sure everybody on the Gator campus had Big Joe winning the 100. So he upset the field.
So since you put that out there,
Oh boy.
let me tell you when I thought Joe was going to win the 100. The last push he did from the blocks before we went out on the track for the 100 meters.
Mm.
And I said to myself, because what he did on the track wasn't even close to what he did in the back, right? I said to myself, now if you do half of that, they got a problem.
Yeah.
And he did a little less than half, and they had a problem. So. And obviously, at 50 meters in the race, I was like, oh yeah, that they're done.
Yeah.
He's about to do what he does. But no, like my thing with that whole situation is like, again, guys, like what I've learned over the last few days is that, you know, this is an opinion-based award. It's even more so clear on that than before, and not something that I need to get my blood pressure up about. It's no matter who wins this award this year, on the men or the women, there's going to be people that walk away and be upset. And I've witnessed that. You know, I witnessed one of the other finalists when Grant won that was really pissed off, like hot, that felt that their guy should have won. You know, not sure why, but that's the way they felt, right?
That's one of
And
the easier years.
yeah, and so like I think that we need to understand that this is an opinion-based award, and that this panel of 12 people has the pulse of America, has a pulse of the world in some ways, and we can't let this create this controversy and forget to celebrate everybody involved, even those who are not on the stage. I think that's the thing, because when 10 years from now, we're going to be talking about this season, right? We're going to be talking about, think about this, Favor O'Feely 3-4 weeks ago was the NCAA record holder.
Yeah.
We've forgotten that.
Yep.
Right? Nobody, you know, Britton Wilson is like the number 2 or 3 400 hurdler in the history of the event.
Mm-hmm.
And nobody's talking about that. Right? It's crazy. You know, Destin's the NCAA record holder. Nobody's talking about that. Because we need to, in my opinion, we need to find a way to celebrate this women's class, because they are one of the best ever, in my opinion.
Yeah.
One of the best ever. Okay, so if I say this, okay, of the people that were on take the 10 people that were the semifinalists, right? I think there were 10 of them. Is that correct? So, okay, I'm gonna let you pick 5 of them and see how many points you can score at the NCAA meet. We're getting over 100.
Oh yeah.
You just take 5 of them, right?
Oh yeah.
That's how good they are this year.
Mm-hmm.
And let's celebrate that, you know?
You know who I'm picking first? Jasmine Moore. What's next?
You know,
what's next?
What's weird is we had a points competition, and we actually, one of the things we picked was high point scorer, and we all picked Jasmine Moore.
So I'm gonna let you guys in on the inside conversation. We landed in Eugene, and I called the EP, and we have we talk at least once every day or two. And so he said to me, "Did you guys get there safely?" I'm like, "Yes." He goes, "Okay. Is Jasmine's more, how's she feeling?" I'm like, "Oh, Jazz feels great." And he goes, "You do understand, no matter what people think, she's going to win the vote." He said, "In no world am I ever," this is before we did the predictions on the show, "but is there no world where I am picking against Jasmine Moore because she doesn't know how to lose," is what he said to me. He said, there's 2 things you can count on, right? That Jasmine's winning and Anna's winning. And Anna, he said this. He said, "Anna will challenge the collegiate record while doing the double." He said that to me on the phone, like literally an hour after I got to Eugene. So he's smarter than we give him credit for sometimes.
Chu, I don't want you to do this now.
Okay.
But I want you to, since I'm on the questions at the end of the show today, I want you to tell me before I start. Jasmine Moore scored 40 points at the national championships this year.
Cool.
How many did all the other people on the stage, men and women, total score?
The 6 nominees, or
The
the
other
5. Yeah. Well,
It's going to be more than 40, but I don't think it's going to be much more than 40.
Well, it's going to be a
What
lot
should
more
be-
than 40 because
It's going to be
Anna
a lot
scored
more than 40.
Yeah, Anna scored 18.
Just let
Abby
you,
had-
do her public math.
No. I'm gonna just do it for you. Anna scored 18. Abby scored 14. Joe scored 22. You're done.
Okay.
You got to,
Well, the
Randolph
women
scored 10.
outscored her.
Yeah, the women. Okay. No, I'm talking about the outdoor meet.
Yeah.
That was the outdoor meet. So on the season, Anna scored 28.
Okay.
And Abby
The hard
scored
way. 28 the hard way.
Yeah, and
Well,
yeah, and Abby.
let's be fair. Abby scored 20 and a half points at the outdoor national meet.
Yeah.
10, 6,
No, you give her the relay
2,
counts.
2.5.
The relay count.
That's what I'm saying.
Relay count.
So Abby actually was the high point scorer for the outdoor national meet by half a point.
Yeah. Half a point.
But not for the season.
No.
No. All right. What's next?
All right, yeah.
Because Jasmine dropped off a 40 burger.
Next question definitely includes our guest tonight.
The legend himself.
The legend, yes, is, the big conversation right now, and whether it's on one side or the other, is going pro. And is there a correct answer as to when, how, who do you go pro with? All those questions that encompass when do you go pro? When is it time?
Chu, I would like to ask if you may please read the comment from Ms. Johnson, because I think that really leads to
the Alicia Johnson tweet.
Alicia Johnson the tweet, yes.
Got it. Coming up right now.
You want me to send it to, or you got it?
Or you can read it if you have it.
You can read it if you got it.
Yeah, if you have it faster than I.
She says,
TV this way.
Man, we talk about a lot of things. She says, because I want to make sure I read it properly. Hold on. She said, I had a collegiate athlete ask me if he/she should go pro, even though they have the talent. I told them to stay in school, all caps. It's an easier journey with support and resources. I promise you. That was the tweet.
Legend, the floor is yours, sir.
Lifting it up to the corner there.
Yeah, I think she has a very good point. And that's speaking for somebody that went pro or not. I think student athletes have this perception that when you go pro, you're going to make a lot of money. And they have this perception of going pro is the end all be all. And I'm speaking from experience, because when I went pro, it happened so fast that nobody told me what happens when you go pro. You know what I mean? All you know is that, you finish the national meet, you sign with an agent, and then you go pro. But what happens?
Yeah, what encompasses all that?
There? Like, you no longer, you've been in the shelter of the school system for 4 years, and you no longer have that, and it happens so abruptly. Like, all of a sudden, like, okay, you can't use a cold tub no more, or you can't get the same treatment that you used to use, that you used to get anymore. If you are sick, they just bring in a doctor for you. These are the things that nobody tell you when you go pro. Everybody thinks that, okay, I'm just gonna sign this big shoe deal. Even when you sign a shoe deal, like I thought as long as you win NCAA and you break a collegiate record, you automatically gonna get a big payday. Like, the problem is that's how professional athletes, track and field athletes, make it seem.
Mm-hmm.
Or you just look at one set of people and think that everybody lived the same life, And I wish that coaches could educate the athletes before they go pro on things that happen. Like, you gotta pay your agent. I've had athletes complain about, they signed for so much, but 30% goes in tax. You see what I'm saying? You do better staying in school sometimes. And especially if you haven't graduated, like, you leave in school without an education. And you can't even, your contract can't even pay for your education most of the time. And don't get me wrong, some athletes, like, I've heard of companies paying for their schools for them to finish and stuff like that. And these are far and few between. Like that almost never happens.
Right.
Where you get a shoe company to pay for your school and all these other things. But like I'm sorry, but I might have to agree with the tweet in some ways where like, okay, I know you have the NIL stuff. Now, like now you could probably be in school and make $60,000. Like you could probably stay, and that money's not taxed. You don't have to pay an agent. Like I wish I could go back to school right now, and because I've heard of people signing like 30. Like if I could stay in school, and you tell me that I could do everything I do, and that you're gonna pay me $50,000, I'm not leaving. I'm prolonging my education. I'm taking one class of my senior year every year.
Oh,
Because you avoid all of this drama, because it's not as, in my opinion, that is like everybody might have a different view. Like the sprinters gonna make their million, their $500,000, but that is so rare that happens in our sport. And sometimes, like even if, and this is the crazy part, even if you're a sprinter, like the shoe company trying to get you for as low as possible. Like for as low as possible. And then even if you sign for, let's say I'm a sprinter coming out of college and I get 200,000, right? That 200,000, you only probably seeing 120,000.
yes. Yeah.
And honestly, like right now, 120,000 is not a lot of money to live on with it, especially if you live in California. And that's, don't get me started. If you go pro in California, then you might, and for 100,000, you might as well just stay in school.
So
the timing.
No, it's so good.
Lamar. Hey, you are the MVP of this show because you talk about truth. Okay? Truth. Look, let's take it one step further. Okay? So let's say you signed for $750,000. How much are you actually grossing when it's all said and done? Right? Like it's, every time, whether it's an NFL football player or a major leaguer or somebody that has a moment of clarity and goes on a Twitter rant and starts to break down the numbers of their contract and what they ended up paying their agent and their therapist and all of these things and what they actually end up with. It is mind-boggling. It is absolutely mind-boggling. And there's so little education out there, from the standpoint of, hey, you have 2 more years of eligibility left. Okay, we are in the NIL age. Okay, and they're knocking on the door. They want you to come out. They want you to go pro. Can you literally stop for a second and let's do some comparing and contrasting? Okay. Housing is taken care of, your food's taken care of, your therapy's taken care of, your travel's taken care of, your equipment's taken care of. All of that costs money, right? When it's all said and done, all of that, you're coming out of your pocket to pay for that.
Also, I will say this. Go ahead. A lot of athletes are not mature enough to go pro. And that's a big thing. I think more is mature enough to go pro. But like a lot of athletes, like especially if you don't have if you have a college coach and then you got to go on a circuit by yourself, like it takes maturity to be a professional athlete. It takes maturity, like when your coach is away with a group and you got to train by yourself. Like these are the things that they don't tell you when you become a professional athlete. And like an 18-year-old, 19-year-old going pro, not a lot of people have that. And don't get me wrong, there's some that do. but there's some that sometimes one more year in college might be the best thing that ever happened to them.
Well,
You know?
so to that point, I mean, let's be clear. There's been very, very, very few people who have skipped college altogether and made it, or came out after year one and had successful careers. I mean, there might be 5, right? So that's great. I want to jump in here because I think Lamar and Lucius will have much better closings on this topic than I would. In 2012, when I was working at Academy of Art, Vashti Thomas was on my roster, and USATF shenanigans prevented her from running the hurdles at the Olympic trials. She had to sit around and wait to do her secondary event, which was the long jump. And if I remember correctly, she had the jump of her life and finished 5th overall, just barely missed the team. And there were agents and people coming up to me talking about, oh, you know, we want to sign her. And because, you know, she was flattered by all of this, she was legitimately considering it. Until we got back home and I put a piece of paper in front of her and I said, Vash, here's what I spend for you to be in school. Your tuition, your housing, your room, your board, your books, no NIL at the time, right? Here's the price tag for that. Now, how much are you going to spend on your therapy? How much are you going to spend, you know, to fly your chiropractor out, blah, 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 blah. This little piddly $30,000 they talking about, that's that bullshit. Don't you dare play yourself that way. Don't you dare. And luckily, I had the trust and built up the relationship enough with her that she was able to listen to me, and that was a one-day conversation, and she never thought twice about it, right? But because there's no collective bargaining, because there's no organized floor, our sport is probably the dirtiest, grimiest pro game there is on the planet. It ain't the PGA.
Nope.
It ain't none of that. And if you do it wrong, you might be pro with some Nikes, but you can be living on somebody's couch. And that's not a joke. We all know people that have done that.
Yeah.
So for me, I'm just like, listen, the tweet that Ms. Johnson put out there is apropos. It's very true. And I hope whoever she gave that advice to chose to listen to her. I just don't like the griminess of what it takes to go pro and be pro in this game. Tiana told me something once. She said, in order to win a medal, that's $100,000 investment of my money. Mm-hmm. My money.
Yep.
Not the salary I'm being paid. I have to spend $100,000.
Yes.
To legitimately have a shot to win this medal, or to make
you're going to have a team behind you.
That's right.
You're going to have a right.
That's right. And just everybody who's young that's considering turning pro. Sir Lucius has a whole bunch of people on his campus that, you know, should probably be pro one day. Once you turn pro, all of these people who are currently your support system, in theory, you got to pay them all now.
Yeah.
It's not, it ain't sexy. So unless you have one of these, you know, can't turn it down dollars, you know, you really should pay attention to what you're doing. And the sad fact of the matter is a lot of the people that lose in this game come from places where they ain't never had money, never seen money. So $100,000 looks like money.
Yep.
That ain't money. Y'all got it.
Okay, so my thoughts are really simple on this. Like, I think the word that gets people in trouble here is agent. See, that sounds, I'm gonna quote my man Lonnie Green, that sounds real sexy. I have an agent, right? You know, I have an agent, I have an agency, right? But the agent and the agency can't do anything for you unless you do something for yourself.
Yep. There's
not an agent on the planet that has not been made by the athletes that they are able to sign. Okay? Because a girl that runs 52 flat that hires an agent, you're wasting your ink.
Yes.
Right? Because the agent can't do anything for you until you run 49. Right? Yeah, because an agent can go out there and get you, I can get you to go to this meet. Well, you go to the meet and let's say you go to the meet and you win. So you win $500. Well, 100 of it's gone.
Yes.
Right.
Okay. And then by the time you do what you had to do, you get back and you spent $300 and you broke even at best.
Yep.
At best.
So,
Yes.
so the word agent, the word agency gets people in trouble because again, it sounds sexy. It sounds like, hey, I've made it. I have an agent, right? But I tell everybody that comes to me and talk about being a professional, you make the agent better based on how fast you run or how far you throw or high or long you jump. It's not the agent makes you better. And I think that's the whole fallacy in this thing is that, okay, I'm going to get an agent and I'm going to do this. But then, like you said, unless you have parents or somebody that's going to fund you, you're going to end up sleeping on somebody's couch trying to make this work. And which is why, you stay in school, you get your degree. Fortunately, if you're here in Gainesville, you can still use a cold tub if you're a professional. We don't have to do that. I mean,
that is not on every campus.
Yeah, Lindon was
not
a
on
visitor
every
on our
campus.
campus, and Lindon used our hot tub. So you can still use the cold tub here. That's not an issue. But that's not on every campus. And the thing you have to understand is like the trainers, because okay, you move on, they put somebody else in your slot. So the trainer still has that 100 people to take care of. You make 101, they don't have time to take care of you like they did before because it's no longer their job.
Yep.
So if you can't afford to pay them to do that, that's an issue.
That's an issue. Yep.
Yeah. So absolutely, unless you're going to I'm going to disagree with you that, if you sign up for big enough scholarship, a contract in the right city or town, and you're going to gross $120,000, $120,000 is much more money than most people are making their first job. So they should take that contract. Now, the $30,000 contract, that is criminal. It should be against the law. Okay, I think that people should be arrested for offering contracts. That's right. That's just, and that's what's wrong with track and field. Like, there's no slots, right?
Right.
Okay. Let's just look at what's going on right now. Okay. If there's anybody with a brain, the two highest paid female athletes in the next 3 weeks are going to be Abby Steiner and Melissa Jefferson.
Yeah.
And neither one of them have won a thing.
Nope.
Not a thing. Have we not learned from what we just went through with the other child, right? So it's like we're going to continue to just give money to people for running a time. Okay. And that's, but that's an issue. Look, I think Ariane Knighton, like most of you guys do, is a phenomenal young talent. But the money that was given to him, well, he's only 16. Well, that's why you don't give him all the money.
Yeah.
Right? And so, luckily he's got a little grit to him. He wants to grind it and make more money. But what ruins this sport is that we give these people that have done nothing these big contracts, and then now there's no developmental system. And I know we've beat this horse to death on this show before, right? That's what's killing track and field right now is like there is no developmental system. There's none. So,
well, just to add to your point before I let you go, Lamar, I would love to see someone track to see how many athletes actually go up in contract after their first contract in track and field. I would love for someone, even if it's a conversation off the record, hey, let's go have a beer. Let's chat. Okay. Tell me off the record, right? I'm doing my own research here. And I don't think the audience understands what I'm saying. All of you guys understand.
It's less than 5%. It's less than 5%.
That is what is wrong with our sport. Like, there's so many different things. But listen to what I just said, okay? There are very few athletes that do what regular professional athletes do, where they get their rookie contract right?
Mm-hmm.
They play through their rookie contract, they ball their butts off, and then they get their real contract. That does not exist in track and field. Okay, so when someone that's advising a young male, young female, and says, "Hey, you better get everything you can get now," okay, it's a sad situation, and because we don't have a collective bargaining, we don't have a union, we don't have any of that stuff where athletes can put their foot down and say, "Hey, this is how this should work." It's just going to continue. Lamar, the floor is yours.
Ooh, I mean, there's so much to unpack, so I'm going to try to unpack it as succinctly and point by point as humanly possible. First, I think the greatest truth told out there is how far from an actual understanding of the real world the vast majority of these young fledgling pro/broke-fessionals are. Look, let's take what I would consider, I think, a good contract in track, unfortunately, because the biggest issue we've already beat to death is there is no floor, there is no league, and there is no benefits involved in being a track and field athlete. But if you get $100,000, right, and you're an American, if you get $100,000 is a quality contract, and the shoe company believes in you, and it's got bonuses and rollovers and everything else in it, right? Even if it's got, no reductions. First of all, your agent's good for that particular, but whatever, right? The $100,000 starts out like day one is $100,000. Okay, so no matter how you slice it, $35,000 of that belongs to Uncle Sam. You should be paying your coach something. I'm not going to go into that topic because that'll drive me crazy. But we'll just call it a number, right? There's some more money missing, right? And then in this world, most of these people have agents, and the agents charge an inordinate amount of money. But for easy math, because 15% to a track and field agent is insane when you consider a baseball agent who actually works their asses off for each client makes 5, right? But let's just call it 10% because it's an easy number, right? So that's 10 grand off.
No.
15.
Call it 15 because almost pays 10%.
Right. So you're 100
because the agents actually have a
one.
union, don't they? Okay.
Yes.
Continue.
So you're 100 on day one when Uncle Sam's done with you and the agent is done with you. The 100 is 50. Okay, that's off tops. Now you should be paying your coach, whatever that is, right? Now you have to assemble your team. So whether you can figure out how to get these things free or not is up to your mouthpiece and what kind of person you were when you were on the college campus, if you were burning bridges or whether the shoe company picked you up and moved you somewhere. But at the end of the day, you're going to have to pay for physio, massage therapist, chiropractor. Facts. Can't do this sport without those 3 things.
Every week.
Right?
Every week.
Right. So that's going to cost you. I'll be kind and say that's going to cost you $10,000.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So at the end of the day, your $100,000 contract, but don't call it 100, call it 40.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Because what you have to work with is 40. Right. And so what you really need to consider, and I've been saying this for 2 decades, track and field is the hardest sport in the world to be a professional in. Mm-hmm. And you really have to consider whether that's the life you want, whether the pursuit of world championships, Olympic championships and records is worth it to you. Because if it is, then it is, right? But if it isn't, it's actually understandable, right? It's actually understandable. But it speaks to what I think we finally put numbers to what I've been saying about the fact that there is no league, there is no bottom, and there is no professionality to the sport of track and field. Because all of that we just said is not explained to collegians as they're sitting down with agents after the NCAA meet because we're not breaking any rules, and shoe companies are throwing money at them, right? Like they did. Look, when you're a broke college kid, $100,000 sounds like a ton of money.
Yep.
And it is, but all of us who've done adulting understand what $100,000 really means, right? Like you don't get that whole 100.
Nope.
Right. See, and these are real conversations, right? Like agent contacts athlete. Athlete says, I need you to sit down and explain this to my coach. Agent says, I am going to charge said athlete 20% of everything she earns. My response is, why?
Right.
Agent's response is because I need to pick up I am going to be the one negotiating getting said athlete into meets. And I said, okay, but why 20%? Right. Because you can't pick up the phone until said athlete performs at a high level.
Right.
So you want to take the number of agents that have said to me, when so-and-so was with me, they were rolling, right? So every time an agent says this to me, please excuse my French, Micah, if you're watching, what in the fuck did you have to do with this person running fast? Right? So please help me here. They were rolling when they were with you because the coach and the athlete were out in the sun every day, busting the butt, getting the athlete to a high level, right? It's criminal.
Yeah.
It's criminal.
And
it is
because the vast majority of them don't do the tough agent work, which is all the stuff, all of the off the track money for athletes, right? Like we don't see a whole bunch of track and field athletes in a whole bunch of commercials, right? That's because that's really hard to do.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
That's
and so that
Carl and Jackie and Sid.
Right. Like it's not hard to market Sid. She's young, good looking, and has won everything. Right. Like that's not tough. You're answering phone calls, not making phone calls.
Mm-hmm. And by all means, take 20% of that. Go ahead and take
it. Yeah. Right.
You don't get 20% for booking a flight.
Exactly. And that's my thing is like, okay, we have to find a way to help the developmental athlete. We have to find, okay, that in my opinion is what's wrong with the long jump in this country because they don't make any money.
Yep.
They don't. So they can't afford to be jumpers. Right. So if you find a way to get them money off the track, then they'll be able to perform better on it. And then they can get the bigger contract. But everything is so skewed. I mean, and Legend said it earlier, like the sprinters get all the money.
Yeah. Right.
He kind of said it in kind of quietly, but you can speak it. You can say it. Put your chest into it, dog. You can say it.
No, it's true. And look, I agree completely with Tiana. Like I would tell you a medal is going to cost you. You can't do it any cheaper than $20,000. Mm-hmm. It's going to cost you at least $20,000 of your own money to win a medal.
Yep.
Right. If that involves an international stay, that's probably double. Mm-hmm. Right. I can tell you, like, my bronze medal definitely cost more than 20 because I had to write a check for $10,000 for a house in Sydney before I ever made the team.
Yeah.
Right. So like at the end, and that wasn't for me, like that was for coach, physio, chiropractor, family. Right. So at the end of the day, like, like all of these things cost a tremendous, it costs a lot to be a professional athlete. But football players and basketball players and baseball players make a whole lot more money. Right. So they can pay all of those bills. But it is very expensive to be a professional athlete, which is why they make a lot of money, in theory.
So a couple of things that I've been holding on to. One, not only are the agents, and this is in having conversations with Lindon at this point, in conversations of the exiting, fifth-year seniors that I've been able to be around this year, and just being with this group. the agents are just as much the demise of the athlete because of the limitations they set amongst themselves. Like, oh, that meet's not good enough for you, so you're not going to go there, or that contract's not good enough for you, so you're not going to go there, without actually communicating. So as much as they're trying to one up for themselves, like they are actually the demise of the athlete on top of not even helping the athlete at times, I feel. And then two, oh dang, we were just talking. I already lost the thought. Damn it.
Well, let me say this, and maybe this will spark something, and maybe remember your thought, right? The biggest problem with the agents need to be agents. They want to be coaches. They want to be therapists. They want to be everything but what they are. Your job is to get track meets. Your job is to negotiate a contract, not to tell people what events to run, not to tell people how to manage their events, not to tell people how to do anything to do with track and field. Do your jobs. Mm-hmm. And so the agent is sitting with the athlete, you need to tell your coach you need to do more of this. You need to tell your coach you need to do more of that. So my response is always, okay, I'm going to call Adidas tomorrow and tell them they need to have more money. How would that make you feel? Well, coach, why would you do that? And then why are you trying to tell them what they should be running? Mm-hmm. Because clearly I did my job to get them where they are. And you thought I was good enough to do that. So let me do my job. And the agents, until the agents really are gotten under control, track and field is never going to get any better. It can't. Because, and I've said this, track and field coaches are the biggest prostitutes on the planet. We work our butts off every day for somebody else to get 20% of our work. Mm-hmm. And I'm gonna get off that soapbox because
big league.
Right. Yeah. I know.
What's next, Chewy? What's next?
Real quick, the other thing I was gonna say is, the sprinter comment about salaries and their quote unquote signings, earnings, that's even inflated, right? Because if you're not a top premier, like 1 or 2 sprinter, it's minimal at that. And, I had to burst a bubble, me knowing the least amount of this group here, experience or knowledge wise, I had to burst the bubble of an athlete. Like, we were talking and he was like, okay, well, if I do this, I think I can get this. And I was like, yep, no, I'm gonna let you know now, because you're gonna sign for less. And what you're gonna lose very off tops is your health insurance, because you don't have health insurance. Yeah. So that right there costs way more than anything else. I fielded a phone call today. I need to know who's taking summer courses, because if they're not taking summer courses, their insurance is done. And that literally hurt my heart for the athletes who I know hadn't thought about that yet. Mm-hmm. Yep. And so man, these are the conversations, and poo-poo on the agents who are not bringing that to light, who are razzle-dazzling with these $5,000 contracts agreements with these brand sponsors, these little namers. And then, the athletes light up because they're like, oh, well, I'm going to get a small kit or a pair of sunglasses, or get to wear this brand name with me, whatever it might be, whether it's Whataburger, In-N-Out, whatever. No, your NIL is way better than that, because you're not going to have to pay a percentage. You didn't have to pay an agent for it, and they came to you. You did nothing. Yeah. On this group text that we have, we've talked about open doors, and I'm pushing open doors to everybody that I can push it to, because it literally does the work for you. So anyways, that is my soapbox on that. Mr. Victor, is there anything that you wanted to highlight before we allow you to rest, before we kill you or bust your butt tomorrow in practice? That was a wrong choice of words. My apologies. But
this was actually lots of fun, I enjoyed it.
Good.
Well,
now you know why we come to practice talking the way we do.
So this was fun. Hopefully,
we would love to have you on again, sir.
Yeah, hopefully you guys invite me again. I don't know if I did a good job or not.
You did a great job, sir.
Absolutely.
We'll bring you back when you got the medal around your neck.
I was just going to say, right after Worlds, we'll be on there en route to Commonwealth. That'll be one of your recovery days. We'll make this a recovery day for you.
I'm good with it.
All right, sir. Well, you enjoy the rest of your evening. Get some rest.
I'll see you guys in the morning.
Yes, sir.
Have a good night.
Good night.
Good night, buddy.
Good night, sir. I want us to move on, but I want to say something because I think that the rest of the world should understand this. In the sport of baseball, all baseball agents make 5%. We are capped at 5%. Okay, I have been a baseball agent for 3 seasons, and Scott Boras has done. I don't know. It's like I think I want to say it's like 40 or 50 billion dollars worth of business. Some nonsense. It's a giant number, right? But we both get paid 5%. That's what it's capped at. So it doesn't matter that he has the best athletes and I have burgeoning athletes, right? But in the sport of track and field, like who you have in some of these agents' worlds, like justifies them getting paid more.
Yeah.
Right. In their minds, right? Or I mean, I can't look. I can't even say like it's not even in their minds because they get it. Maybe not from everybody, but they do get it. And listen, I'm not anti-agent. Obviously, I am one. But I will say, even when I was an athlete, right? Like probably 90% of the people in track and field don't need an agent.
No. And that's why the ones who are smart enough to figure that out.
Yep.
For example, when Allison became Allison, the first thing she did was, damn all that, my brother's my agent. Right? Sonia Richards hired her mom as her agent.
Yep.
Right? Because they figured out, like, actually, what am I paying these people for?
Yep.
And the funny thing I always tell people about the whole Allison situation is today, Wes Felix is one of the bigger, better agents in the game, right? But he wouldn't be if not for Allison putting him on.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Like you got to manage Allison so these other doors opened up to you. It's always about the athletes in this business.
Yep.
Yeah. It is. It's very, we've said this a bunch of times, but it is amazing, like the amount of money generated in the sport and how little of it is actually in athletes' hands. Oh, it's actually amazing.
It's in everybody else's hands. What's next, Chu?
I know. Let's move on. All things USA Championships. So in that, we want to highlight what happened. Obviously, the results of it.
But wait, before we get to the results, because we're doing USA Championships, can we get another tweet read? Can we get the Dwight Phillips tweet?
Yes. So I was getting there. I was laying the table.
I'm sorry. My bad.
I laid the table, and now here's your appetizer. So there was the tweet in question. Sorry, I'm not going to pull it up fast enough. I pulled up the wrong phone. Dang it. If somebody beats me to it, feel free. But there was a comment made about, and as it's been made, you know what I mean? The stadium is not as full as projected. What's the problem? I've seen it, I'm now part of the Cool Kids Club. I'm part of Mr. Drummond's group that he alluded to. It took like 4 months to get the invitation, but I'm now in. And so now I see the foolery that you all were talking about at that point. Is Oregon what it really is? And they said this, what was it at pre, about just why are people not showing up? And so
okay. Well, that I don't think that was the one I was making reference to. But if you want to talk about the attendance issue,
no.
Well, let me read the tweet that you wanted real quick.
Oh, just kidding. I'm sorry.
For USA's, the flights to Eugene were $1,100 to $1,500. By the time you get a hotel for 2 or 3 days, that's another K. Rental car $300, food $100. Now you're looking at between $2,200 and $3,000. College athletes have a major edge. Only the top echelon of pros, and that was in quotes, which I did like, can afford the trip. That's the tweet.
The first part of attendance. My apologies. I let off wrong.
Governor.
It follows the same. I mean, we talked about it. If you don't have a sizable contract with bonuses, travel, all the clauses you can think of when you think about what an athlete has to pay for, okay? You are literally paying to go to the championship. You are paying money to take care of yourself. If you have the wherewithal to take care of your coach, you are paying for that. You're paying for transportation when you get there, okay? You're paying for food. All of these things have a price tag, right? So, while you're in it, and Lamar, we've been there, right? You're not thinking about sticker shock, right? You're not thinking about the fact that by the time you leave Eugene and go back home, you easily could have spent $3,000 to $4,000 of your own money. You're not thinking about that because your eyes on the prize, right? You're going there because you want to be USA champion. You're going there because if you don't go there, there is no world championships. There is no Olympics. There is no Pan Ams. There's none of that. You have to go, okay? But for the ones that don't have that money, that is a massive dent in their income. All right?
Yeah. Okay.
Now, I'll take it one step further. What is the prize money at USA's? What does the winner get? $8,000? It's $8,000 for the champion.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just so we're clear, it's $8,000 now.
Yeah.
Because when you and I were competing, it was a medal.
It was a medal. It was a pat on the back. Hey, great job. And so that is fact. It's a fact.
And
okay?
it's really 6,400.
There you go.
Yes.
I mean, hey, you know what? And look, Uncle Sam still gets 20% of that too.
Okay, first of all, let me say this. If you are a pro or a semi-pro athlete with an agent and you somehow allow your agent to take 15% of your prize money for USA,
gracious,
your ass whooped. Anything.
Speak it.
Okay, but wait a minute. The governor. We all respect the athletic career of Mr. Dwight Phillips. This tweet is one of these things where it's like, it's factual, but the context is all backwards. Because here's my issue. First of all, that sounds like a you problem. Secondly, the fact that you threw Eugene in there as if the meet was in LA or if it was in Des Moines or if it was in Austin, you weren't going to spend that same money. You're lying.
What did I just say?
Right. So unless the meet is in Atlanta,
you gotta go.
I guess Dwight's not going to go. Right. So it feels like a lot of whining. And if you choose this profession, figure it out. Now, we all.
Hey, Chew, hold on a second. Pause for 1 second. Chew, while Clyde is continuing this, will you please pull up the results of the women's long jump?
Yes.
Go ahead, Clyde.
USA's?
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead, Clyde.
All right.
And so, listen, we all agree that the governing body could do more, could do a better job of supporting said athletes. There are stipends if you're ranked high enough to help you with your travel and all of that. But those programs are impotent at best, and they could do more. But shut up or stay home is how I felt when I saw that tweet. Like, I'm not feeling that one. I don't like it. Very whiny. Run faster, jump higher, throw farther, figure it out.
So, okay, I guess I'll just continue from whence I last spoke, right? Like, being a professional track athlete is the hardest thing in the world to do in professional sports, right? And there's a cost to doing business.
Yep.
You don't get to complain about where the meat is, right? Like, I got, because I was an American, I got my housing comped for my mom and my dad when the Olympics was in Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
When we went to Sydney, Australia, nothing was comped,
Mm-hmm.
not even a bottle of water, right? It just is what it is. So you don't, like, look, you get to complain about a lot of things in track. You don't get to complain about the cost of your U.S. championships.
No.
That one I gotta go. I gotta go away from. But I do want to say this, and I'm probably going to sound a lot like an elitist. I'm actually not. I'm a factualist on this one. If you aren't making enough money in the sport of track and field to pay your coach first, you should be doing something else.
I ain't mad at it.
Because here's the problem. The government's taking their money and the agent gets the money before you do. So they're taking theirs too, right? But your coach and you are the ones in the trenches getting the performances. So if you don't get that, you also on day one should be paying your coach. I'm not going to tell you what to pay them because that's negotiable, right? But by all means, if you don't get that, you should pay your coach first. If your coach says, nah, I'm not taking your money, that's his or her business, okay? But if you're not, if your first thought is not to pay your coach, you shouldn't be doing track. Because professional track is incredibly time consuming.
Yep.
Right? I co-coach one athlete, and that is no less than 15 hours a week.
And see,
that's the small.
I've had these discussions with athletes. You're gonna get USA Track and Field sends you this amount of money, or why should I have to pay you? I'm the one out here running. Okay, but you pay your agent, right?
Yep.
And I'm gonna say this before Clyde says it. When it comes to my pay scale, there's a first world problem here. So if I pay you what I make per hour at the University of Florida, you can't afford me.
Right.
And so, out of the kindness of my heart, a lot of times I don't charge people. But, hey, coach, can I buy you a smoothie today? Coach, let me bring you lunch every now and then. That goes a long way. It shows you're appreciative of the person that's out there busting their butt so you can make a living. Right? And so your agent can buy a new car.
And you can chase your dreams. They're not your coach's dreams. See, this is the other thing that professional track athletes don't get. Like, look, almost all of the people coaching you are college were or are college coaches, right? That's their job.
Yep.
Right? And we chase that dream together. But when you graduate, these are now your dreams. They're not mine. They're not Coach Holloway's, right? They're not Coach Chu's. Like, these are your dreams that you want me to help you get. I got no problem with it. I got no problem with it. Like, I signed on for the job I signed on for, but I just want people to understand, right? Like, it's ludicrous that people like balk at the idea of paying their coaches. I'm just like, so how you gonna get there? Right? Like, if you
where does your team begin?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
so,
and I'll say
have those long jump results, because I feel like Lucius had a very petty point.
Poignant point. I do.
I know
give
it's
me 2
coming.
seconds, because what I was going to say is, I've heard a half-witted, very ignorant, and I'll call it ignorant because they didn't know better. comment as, well, I didn't pay the coach when I was running for them as the university. No, you were the employee. Get it right. That was your boss. Now, guess what? The tables have turned. You're the quote unquote boss, and you pay your employee. To put it in a very simple term, like that's how it has to be understood. You have a payroll now that you must manage because you are the entity. Because if you're wise as a professional athlete, you are an LLC. Like, break it down simply. You are the business. So anyways, I have said results pulled up. Yes, sir. Well, what may I reference for you?
Just read them all.
People and marks.
People and affiliations.
Coming
Yes.
in, the top finisher for the women's long jump at USA Championships was Quanisha Burks, who was unattached, no affiliation. Jasmine Moore, Florida. Tiffany Flynn, unattached. Monet Nichols, Texas Tech. Kate Hall is with ASICS. Shaquila Saunders, is with Adidas. She finished 6th. Claire Bryant is 7th from Florida. Anna Hall, 8th from Florida. Would you like me to keep going?
No.
Okay.
And I'm gonna just leave that sit there.
Mm-hmm.
But I do want to address Ray's take and the fact that collegians should not be able to compete in these championships because they're not professionals.
Yes. Can we please get into that?
I lobbed that up there for you, sir. Have at it.
Again, Ray, sir, I can't even get my brain around that one. That is bitch assness at epic level. So you're telling me my job, I'm a pro track athlete.
Woo.
I have a contract or not, but I am a pro. And I am in Eugene, Oregon, or Des Moines, Iowa, wherever the hell I'm at. My job is to make this team. And since I can't beat the children, Ray's take is telling me that the answer to me not being able to beat the children is eliminate the children from the competition.
Oh boy.
So we want trophy culture and like what is that? We want to make Team USA weaker because the pros can't beat the kids? That's what we want? How can you even, as a pro, how can you even feel good about that?
You must also take into account that half of the pros were once the kids that were beating the pros. Right?
Oh, of course. I mean, yes, there's hypocrisy in that, of course. But I'm just saying, if we instituted that rule right now, go look at the Team USA that we have right now, and then tomorrow we're going to take out the collegiates. That team just got a hell of a lot worse.
All 19 of them.
Right.
Yeah.
I was like, wait, a hell of a lot worse. It got a hell of a lot smaller because there's almost no events that don't have a collegian on the roster.
It's
well, but in theory, the next lame semi-pro would be elevated up into the team, right? Like,
but they got to have the standards.
Well,
most
the pros
of
don't have the standards.
Well, just in the field events, but that's a topic for another day.
Right.
So
Melissa Jefferson can't go.
Most of the
right. Yeah. So Melissa Jefferson, who is our best and maybe only legitimate shot to get a medal in the women's 100, according to Ray's take, shouldn't be allowed in the meet because she runs for Coastal Carolina. What are we talking about? And she's supposed to give up her scholarship before the meet when she's not the U.S. champion. Yes. When she just got last at the NCAA, she's supposed to give up her future at her school.
See, and look, we all know Ray likes to stir up stuff. Mm-hmm. Ray needs to remember that he took somebody's spot when he was a college guy. Stop it, Ray.
Yes.
Stop it. I guarantee you, we know Ray. Ray walked up in there like, I'm taking somebody's spot.
Hey, you know what?
You know Ray.
You know what? Not only did Ray walk up in there and take somebody's spot, but then when it got too difficult to make Team USA, Ray took his butt to Nigeria to make that team. So
I didn't know that.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
I
these are
believe you. I
facts.
just didn't know that. Yeah.
So, you know, listen, I'm not here for that. That is utter nonsense. That is utter
we don't need to spend any time on that.
nonsense.
Yeah, we don't need to spend any time on that at all. Because at the end of the day, the rules say they can come. With the job, USA Track and Field's job is to put the best team out there possible, and that's what they did. Yeah. And so we will continue to do that. And again, I think Ray likes to stir up stuff. He can be very funny, very comical when he wants to be. And I think that knowing Ray, he's probably trying to be funny on this one. So, because I know for sure when that Jew was in college, he was not trying to say, "Well, I can't go because I don't want to take nobody's spot." I promise you that.
Right. And
we know as a competitor, that dude was cutthroat.
And I'm not taking a personal shot at the man. I'm taking a shot at the take. The take
right, exactly.
is nonsense. But USA.
Yes. More of USA's.
Oh.
I mean, you said the name already.
There was so much.
Melissa Jefferson.
I mean, yeah.
Okay, so and I shared this with the EP. I'm sitting in the medical tent the day after the women's 100, and you know I've gotten to know Melissa. You know, for her coming to meet here, she pops up to me, "Hey, coach." I was like, "Girl, congratulations." I was like, "Can I ask you a question?" She's like, "Sure." Like what was going on 2 weeks ago? Like, you know, and she said, "Honestly, coach, I put so much effort into trying to get the relay into the final. It just took my legs." Wow. She said, she said, I was just done after the 4x1 leg. I just couldn't get myself back together. You know, she said, wow. I came here, you know, we did things right getting me here. No 4x1, my legs were good. I was like, okay, yeah, that's fair. And talk about somebody that was just over the top happy.
Yeah.
She was genuinely just, oh my God, I can't believe I did this. And for those of you who don't know her, if you ever get a chance to talk to her, please do. Special young lady. She's not just a gifted athlete, she's a special human being. Just incredible, you know, incredible human being.
So I can, you know, I've kind of gone through the numbers, okay, and I probably haven't, you know, gotten everything, but we witnessed this past weekend, the number 600 meters of all time on the men's side, the number 2 all-time shot put, number 2 all-time, the number 8 all-time 400-meter run by Michael Norman, the number 8 all-time 400 hurdles by Mr. Benjamin, the number 12 all-time 200-meter race, okay, the number 19 all-time women's 200, the world record in the 400-meter hurdles, the number 10 100 hurdles of all time, 1234, okay? And then you sprinkle it with a little bit of Miss Jefferson, you know, where did that come from? 1069, 2.9 or not? That is insane.
And so let's go behind Miss Jefferson. Aaliyah Hobbs 1071.
Hello?
TT Terry 1077. And look, maybe the performance of the meet based on what happened, who was about to be whatever happened to this. Tamari Davis ran 1078.
Yes.
And was fourth.
Yes.
Which is why the women's 100-meter competition is one of my favorite competitions that I've seen in years. And y'all can say whatever it is. USA Championships 2022 proved exposed, I should say, one of the biggest lies that we've been forced to choke on for the past couple of years. We don't need the sideshow. The sport is just fine without the sideshow. The women's 100-meter future is just fine without the sideshow. And Miss Jefferson is much more worthy of the face of the women's short sprints than others who disrespect the platform and the people running it. So all that energy, I want to see billboards of Miss Jefferson. I want to see people get behind her. I want to see promotion. And if anybody in our sport earned a raise this year, Carl Goodman, congrats on being named associate head coach at Coastal Carolina, because that team right there is worthy of all the attention. Like Tamari is still a kid. TT is a rookie.
She's 19 years old.
Right? Yes. TT's a rookie.
Okay. So let's leave the sideshow stuff for now. Okay.
No,
let's stay in. And I agree with you. But see, I don't want to do the sideshow stuff because
I got you.
I want to celebrate. Okay. There's a special 4x1.
Yeah.
And we don't need to go delving into the 200 to find it. Right? We do not. We absolutely do not. And I know you want to, but look, if you want to do that, but if it's me, in this case, those 4 can get it done.
Yeah.
They can. Look, I know there's a special one on 200. So I'm not discounting what that young lady does, but I'm telling you, those 4 can get it done. Absolutely.
I don't disagree that in theory, on foot speed.
And hold on a second. And in theory, they're all faster than people at the 200 anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So,
well, again, you asked me not to go down that path, so I'm not going to. I'm not going to open that can of worms. There's just no reality where I step out on either relay without Abby Steiner on the track, and I'll leave it there. But
because you know what? Because you're a fan, and I appreciate that.
No,
but see, no. Listen to me. Listen to me now. See, all I'm gonna tell you is this: it's a great story, and you like the story. You've always liked the little guy in the story and the backstory and all that stuff. Okay, but if the 4 of them can exchange the baton, the 4 of them should be on the track. And when it comes to the 4x4, I'm not sure what delusional world everybody is. She is not one of the 4 fastest Americans in the 400, even on the fly. So stop it.
So Lamar.
No, I
want you to notice that I'm trying to get off of that, and he's trying to needle me into it.
Hold on a second. You brought it up. You just said
I did not bring it up. You brought up.
Said I'm not stepping up. Hold on a second. I talked about the relay, and then you brought the 4x4. I didn't bring up the 4x4 yet. You did. Put that on me. And you knew, so if there's any needling going on here, it's you needling me.
This is my USA wrap up in a nutshell when it comes to the win. And I'm really, really serious about this. We all have went on rants about how bad of a job we do promoting our sport. Right now, our sport on the women's side, and from an American perspective, is giving us Melissa Jefferson, Athing Mo, Sydney McLaughlin, and Abby Steiner right now. And there are others. We understand, that Gabby had a rough meet. She was dealing with an injury, but Gabby is absolutely one of the people that should be promoted at the highest level of our sport, given everything that she has accomplished, and everything that she is, right?
And because of the way she handles her business.
Yes.
Class personified, studying medicine to help our community.
Yep.
Okay. There are so many great faces that belong on billboards, and we got to see them all, and they're all young. None of them are old. We all due respect to Allison. Allison's out the door. Like that, we've run that train as far as we can run it. It's time to pick these women up and make them the faces and tell their stories and prop them up and make sure they get paid. Make sure they don't fall down the rabbit hole of the sport, because they're all right here, they're all right now, and they're all phenomenal. Those 5 right there.
I mean, you could throw in the 4 ladies that are currently world leaders in the 4 throwing events, and just put them on a billboard, because here's the thing, like we all agree, like that's not going to happen very, very often, if ever again. So as a marketer of our sport, like when you have those opportunities, you take that opportunity, right? Going into Worlds, it's true, right? somebody tell the rest of the world that it's true. Not us. We're track heads. We find out all this stuff, right? It's a cool thing right now, and it's not April when that happens normally, right? Like everybody's championships have happened, and the sport is. I couldn't say it any better than any of you guys have said it. Like, the sport is in a great spot.
Yes.
An absolute great spot to be marketed,
the kids are
promoted,
all right, if you will. The kids are all right.
Listen, if we go back before last year's trials, I said that we were going to send the youngest team to the Olympics that we had sent since the 68 team. But what was most important was that we had to keep them in the sport so that we could produce some level of world domination for this 5-year run. Because you can't, experience ain't free, right? Like, I was super duper excited that Javon Harrison made the team so that he can go to another championship.
Yes.
In a row.
Yep.
Right? Like, because we all know they never get easy, but it definitely is easier to compete at a major championship when you've been to one before. It's definitely easier.
Mm-hmm.
The one of the more amazing and tragically sad stories from this weekend that I'm sure a lot of people aren't aware of yet, but it is out there in the public sphere now. Devin Allen made the 110 hurdle team, dealing with the death of his father in between the 2 rounds. Like, think about that. The man lost his father right before or right after the semifinal and had to come back and step out there and race.
Was it in between the rounds, or was it the night before? Because I've heard both stories.
I was told it was on the day of the semi. Either way, I mean.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not trying to discount. I'm just asking.
No. Yeah, the way it was told to me was, yeah.
I was at the meet right immediately after the final. I was told that by his old coach, the guy he was with last year at this time, that he got a text from the mom saying that the dad had passed the night before.
Wow.
Mm.
Well, either way, I mean, first of all, condolences to Devin and obviously the rest of his family.
Absolutely, yes.
Right?
Yeah.
But imagine the mental fortitude it takes to have to deal with something like that and step out there and actually perform and make it happen. And again, in Devin's specific case, he doesn't even need to do it. His future is set, paid for by the Philadelphia Eagles. He's out there doing this because he loves the sport and has something that he wants to do for himself. And you get that news and you still walk out there and do it? Man, listen, if you weren't a fan of Devin Allen already, you better be.
You sure better be.
That's incredible. Incredible. Now, are we gonna get into the 200 and put Lucius on a muzzle?
I don't need a muzzle. Y'all talk about whatever y'all want.
I mean, you know, we don't want to put you. We don't like putting you in.
You know. Okay. Look. So since you lobbed it up there, listen to me very carefully. I've known Noah since he was a child, and Noah has always been one that, when poked, that's how he's going to respond. If you saw in the warm-up area, he was as animated as I've ever seen him, right? Was the gesture a bit disrespectful? Absolutely. Was his take afterwards and what he said an attempt to make it not as bad? It was. Bottom line is, like I told Arian, he beat you. So our job is to be ready to try not to get beat the next time. That's my job. I'm not going to bash Noah. We've seen much worse over the years, right? We have. And I think a lot of it is because Arian, who Arian is, he's the new kid on the block. He's the fresh new face. He's a child and all that stuff. You didn't have to disrespect the child. But look, as a coach, do I condone such antics? You guys know me better. I do not. But is that something there's not banners flying in Gainesville hatred of Noah Lyles because it's Noah. It's what he does. And so our job is to respond to that and not make it so easy for him next time.
Okay, see, I'm here for all of that. I actually,
that's what you got.
I agree it was disrespectful, but that type of disrespect at the pro level from a person who has accomplishments, I'll live with it.
Exactly, yeah.
I'll live with it.
He's the standard bearer, right?
Right, it's interesting.
Right.
He's got medals behind his neck. He can feel slighted by the new kid on the block and clown him a little bit like that. Now, see, me personally, I thought the interview was more disrespectful than the finish line. That's why I thought that. I thought the interview was like, oh, for real? Like, you just go talk crazy to the boy on camera right when he's standing there? But I loved his response. I loved Ariane's response.
Yeah,
it ain't over, and walked off. I loved it. So, hey, I want more of that from both ends. I want more of all of that.
Our talking will be done on the track, not through social media and other outlets, and not on the LLC either. So,
of course, that's why I said you're gonna be muzzled. That's why I was like,
I don't need a muzzle.
I'm trying to get that to Lamar. I'm trying to get Lamar in this.
Okay, so for those who don't know me, the EP knows this about me more than anybody else. Like, I'm gonna share it because he never has. Like, you guys, we talk about whether it's Alan Johnson and other people creating scenarios. Oh, I create them all the time. Like even this thing about me not being able to coach women, like it's out there, it's real. But in my head, it's 1,000 times worse than when people are saying it is, right? Because that's the stuff that motivates me. And so, not that I needed motivation, but we will be a little more detailed and task oriented when it comes to prepare for the 200. Yeah, we will. Because clearly, I don't know what I'm doing. The boy ran 1969. I don't know what shit. Well, mouse fucked that up. Okay, I did. Thanks for letting me know. Not that I needed to hear it, but I'm good. Excuse my neck was Mike. I apologize.
Lamar.
And I mean, that's the rhetoric out there. And see, I'm good with that. I like it when people tell me what I can't do. I'm good. Appreciate it.
Well, my take on USA's was, man, it was an awesome track meet that you had to subscribe to one platform, and then find. We have DirecTV, and I pay a gajillion dollars, and I had to find not one but two different channels that the track meet was on, and I was like, this is on the finals day, and I said to a very close friend, this right here is a microcosm of what's wrong with the sport of track and field. On the championship day of the U.S. championships, you gotta pay for 1/3, and then you gotta find
USA
the other
for 1
two,
hour.
right? And then you gotta find the other two platforms that it's on. And I was just like, this ain't it. This is what I should be digging for, to try to find the dart championships this way. I should not be trying to find the USA track and field championships this way.
Hey, the dart championships on ESPN1, baby.
Don't just stop there, Lamar.
I know.
Lamar, tell the people what the order of it was. So you basically went from paying to see the early part of the program. You watched the live in terms of the meat and potatoes, the highlights. Then you had to go to USA to watch 2 distance races. How much? It was about 3 distance races that had to be run earlier because of heat warnings.
Yes.
Hey,
so, here's the worst part. Here's the worst part. You did all of that, right? And there were still people who won national championships that didn't get any of their performances shown, and they just got the screen.
Exactly.
I was like, man, I listen. I don't get it. And I don't get how it flies. Like, I don't get how the athletes don't just say, look, we're not doing this. Like, if you can't promote us better, dude, listen, all of these young people that do track and field, they are so tech savvy. I promise you, they could do a better job on an iPhone, on whatchamacallit, on Instagram Live.
Mm-hmm.
Because at least we,
so
you know what?
I'm gonna use this analogy, right? It's like they cook this really nice steak, really nice potatoes, got broccoli, all the things you need to make it a incredible dinner,
Mm-hmm.
and they served it to you on the freaking top of a trash can.
Yeah.
That's what they did.
And you had to go to 2 restaurants to get it.
That's what they did. They took something that was incredibly special and they trashed it with their presentation of it. That's what they did.
And not just special to us, special to people who are outside of our sport as well.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
And then it goes back to the difficulty to get there and the expense to get there, right? So now you have to struggle to watch your child or your grandchild or your godchild or your brother or your cousin when you can't. So it's frustrating, you know, like it's crazy.
Yeah.
Like when do we ever have a national championship? If we can get the NCAA to be free, why can't the USATF be free?
Well, see, that's okay. So here's my question. It's a legitimate question because I'm in California. I didn't go. I chose not to roll up. USATF TV, which I absolutely pay a subscription for. Like, why I can't get USATF TV with my membership to being USATF? Why is that not part of the package?
Right.
Now, with all due respect, why am I paying money to listen to Justin and Dawn navigate the majority of the competition? Because most of the events over the 4 days were USATF TV. Then Peacock, I gotta pay for Peacock too.
Yeah.
The only turn on my TV and watched were like an hour-and-a-half window. I get Otto and the crew. Like, it was a mess.
Yeah, it was.
It was a mess. And they did such a bad, like, okay, these are things they missed, right? Because they showed them, but they showed them in such a disjointed fashion, right? Look, we know Ryan Krauser's a monster and he threw 23 meters, but only if you were really paying attention do you realize he wasn't winning at one point.
Yeah.
Right.
Joe Kovacs threw 75 friggin' feet.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that defending world champion that Lamar didn't pick.
Okay, stop. We're not going there.
That's your guy. Come on.
I love them both. Okay, look. Anyway, I can't watch this pristine. Like track and field athletes are getting better, folks, and they're getting better rapidly, right?
Rapidly.
So it's like we're taking all of the best artwork in the world, taking it out of museums and just like showing it on the street at a carnival. Like I don't get it. I just don't get it. Like, how can the sport be marketed and viewed worse now than it was when I was running? I stopped running in 2001.
Mm-hmm.
There's like 9 million platforms that exist to show track now, besides what was when I was running.
The pinnacle of the sport.
Yeah.
Right? This is supposed to be
championships.
And it was a phenomenal championship.
Yep.
It was.
Okay,
absolutely.
Okay, let's just go through. 5th place in the men's 100 was 990.
Yeah.
Win legal.
Is that good?
Yeah. And wait a minute. Christian Coleman didn't run the final.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, didn't.
Right?
Oh, okay. Wait a minute. Actually, I'd like to address that.
Okay.
Not Christian Coleman specifically. The one beef I had with the championship itself, and I don't think there's a good workaround. Actually, there is. If world champion X, Christian Coleman, Nia Ali, whoever, choose to exercise their right not to run in the final, fill the fucking lane.
Yeah.
Fill the lane.
Yeah.
There's no reason why you can't fill the lane.
Nope.
It's a very easy fix. Just squeeze them down and put the extra person on the outside. Fill the lane.
Well, here's the easiest fix. In any race that has the defending world champion in it, just take 9 to the final.
Right.
Because there's 9 lanes.
Yep.
Right.
Just
there you go.
That was annoying. That was annoying.
That makes too much sense. Yeah.
That was annoying.
Yeah. So I mean, but back to the championships. I mean, like what about the college boys in the men's 400?
Hey,
Yeah.
You know,
the governor
mean-
pointed out Michael Norman was a top 6 with his performance,
Yes.
but Champion Allison was top
Number
10.
8 all time. Number 8. Yeah.
Champion was top 10, right?
Yes, he
he's
was.
number
He was
he's number 10
10.
all time. He's number 10 all time.
Wow.
That is insane. That's just
Well, what's insane is I said this to Lyndon earlier today at practice. I said, just because nobody knows, because the way the show was packaged, commentated, all the above, right? Like, we're sending PBs in the men's 400 of 43, 43, 43, and 43. We're sending 4 guys that have run under 44 flat, right? We're sending in the men's
What's
what's
Michael Cherry's PB?
43.90 something.
Okay.
It's just under 4. It's either, it was like the very last race of last year.
I think that's
his PB's 4403.
It's 03. I'm sorry.
4403.
It was just above.
See,
I'm
Sir
sorry.
Lucius, boy. I'm telling you.
I mean, he got a guy in the event. So he got a guy in the event.
So we got 3 guys under 44, and 1 guy at 44 dead. You're correct, right?
Mhm.
But that just makes the next thing I'm going to say just as bad, right? We go sub 13, 13 flat, 13 flat.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the team we're sending to World Championships is loaded.
Yeah.
Can we talk
Right?
about
Like,
the
this is-
women's 8?
Amen.
Uh,
Amen.
Crazy.
You run 158 and you don't make it, right?
Well, look, the women's
this is what I'm saying.
The women's 200, you run 22-1 and you don't make it.
Yeah.
That happened.
They're like, that was nice. That was cute. Get out of here.
Yeah.
You know what about the women's 200? Honestly, for me at least, mad respect to Prandini.
Oh,
Yes.
hell
Some
yeah.
people just know how to make
Absolutely.
teams, man.
Yeah.
Like, she's just one of these people. Like, I don't
Well,
care
see-
what it looks like all season. She's gonna make that team.
So this is the beauty of it. Like, she walks off the track after the 100, and Jen is not one that shows a lot of emotion, but her body language was like basically I didn't like that at all. So you watch it through the rounds, and on the final day, the beauty of it was the person that was by her side every step of the way was Kenny Harrison.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Like, her teammates, like, you are making this team, and I am here to support you through every step of it. It was phenomenal. It was phenomenal. And she came off that turn like, I'm making this team.
Yep.
I'm making this team.
Yep.
It was phenomenal. It was. Tamara Clark. Wow.
Yes.
Wow. I mean, come on.
Hey,
and hey,
Props.
the person I was happiest for all weekend long, Shamir Little.
Yes. Yes.
Shamir Little.
Wow.
Yes.
You talk
Yeah.
about conquering a demon.
Yes. I was jumping up and down like I coached her
Holy moly.
because I was so happy for her.
Yes.
So happy for her. Incredible.
Like, Shamir has struggled so much that people forget, like, she can legitimately go in there and get a medal.
Yes.
Don't get it twisted. I don't care what the results were. Like, Shamir Little is every bit as capable of running under what used to be the world record. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
She can go
Yes,
out
she
there and get a medal. Don't think for a second that she can't.
Yes.
Okay, Sir Lucius. So
Yes, sir.
let's stay on the 4 hurdles here for a second.
Okay.
Why? But Sydney was just out there having practice.
Have you ever seen a race run so smooth as what Sydney just did? The
Yeah.
14 to hurdle 7 and then 15 coming home without no blips, nothing. Just
And the thing for me was, it's like you didn't realize how fast she was running until you realized how far back Britain was, because Britain's run, right?
yes.
Right. But because of the effort It was effortless. Like there was no tension in her face. There was no gritting of the teeth. There was no gritting of anything. It was just like, I am out here chilling.
Yes.
And I'm textbook. This is how the event should be run. And so big time kudos to her and Bobby.
So, so let me ask you this. Are the hurdle coaches, the coaches that are trying to achieve what she just achieved, how are you teaching your kids?
Listen.
See, okay, look. Let me just say this, okay? See,
look,
this is the kind of thing that gets people in trouble,
right?
Okay? You don't watch that video and go, "Let me go to practice and do this," because you don't have Sid.
Exactly.
Okay, and it wasn't quite as easy nor as fast, but Rye was jogging.
Yes,
he was.
Rye wasn't running. He ran 47 flat. Like, okay, I'm gonna do this because I have to. But hey, look, Trevor Bassett, really?
Yeah.
Khalifa Rossler, really?
Yes.
Right? When's the last time we sent 3 guys to the championship running 47 seconds?
47 seconds.
Karan,
this team
Batman,
is loaded.
and James Carter for the last 3. That's the last time I remember anyway.
Insane
But
stuff.
no, to the governor's point, listen, the Sid issue, please, people.
Don't do it.
You cannot.
Nope.
You cannot.
It should be on the bottom of the screen. It should say, "Please don't try this at home."
Please don't try this.
Do not even remotely attempt to watch that tape and think that you can do that. Sydney is the ultimate unicorn.
Yes.
And here's how good it is. One, don't get it twisted. She was out there working on things.
Yep.
That was nowhere close to pedal to the metal for Sid.
No.
And here's the problem. How good is it? The GOAT, Delilah, cannot run that pattern. Cannot.
Mm-mm.
No.
If she attempted to do it, she wouldn't finish the race.
Right.
Sid and Bobby are almost bored with the event that Bobby is out there talking about. After we run this 50 point and chuck the deuces, we're going to go break the 400-meter hurdle, the 400-meter world record. Like,
I mean, think about
which is going to happen too.
Actually said on national TV.
No, he said it.
We've just seen this.
Yeah.
And they're already saying, we're just going to go ahead and try and break the 400 world record.
Because he knows that she is out there playing right now. Like, that's how swaggy, whatever you want to call it. Like, it's Sid and everybody else.
So understand what you're dealing with Bobby Kersey. Bobby Kersey, Brooks told me this story. Now, this was before he knew Sid existed. This was years ago. Brooks said he's overseas. Bobby calls him at 1:00 in the morning and says to Brooks, "I need you to help me figure out some 51-second stuff," right? Brooks says, "Bobby, 51 seconds isn't fast." Bobby's responsible. I'm talking about over hurdles. This like 10 years ago.
This was 10 years ago?
10 years ago, right?
Oh,
so back up a little bit more. Remember when Jackie crushed the world record in the multi, right? So then Bobby's like, "Well, we're bored here. Let's go jump 25 feet in the long jump. Let's go run 12.6 in the hurdles." That's what Bobby does, right? So what you're seeing now is he's like, "Okay, I'm gonna take this 400 hurdle record and put it someplace where Jackie's HEP record is still, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna go attack this 400 record that y'all say can't be broken."
Man,
that's Bobby Kersey.
That's Bobby Kersey.
Yep.
Yeah.
At his best.
Let me.
And it's going to be fun to watch.
Let me add a little bit more salt to how strong this team is. Raven Saunders actually threw really well at the championship. She threw 18.95. It's her season best. She was 4th and didn't make the team. Like, we're taking 1940, 1945, and 2051. Folks, I can't explain to you how much further that is than any 3 people we've ever taken. Like the three, like that average is almost 20 meters between the 3 of them. Like, no shot. We've never come close to that.
Yeah.
And,
You know,
and there's
you
event
alluded to
after
this
event
last
that
year,
look like
especially
that.
on the women's side. Like the youth and the talent on the women's side is phenomenal. And it's almost like, okay, the men decided to step up this year. You know, we
Mhm.
kind of said this on the show after the Olympics, like men's coaches, we got work to do, right?
Right.
And it's been stepped up. I mean, like again, like look at the 1, the 2, the 4, both hurdles.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like on the men's side, like there are medical tenders across the board there.
Exactly.
I mean, there's no world where we don't expect 4 guys to line up in the final in Eugene in 3 weeks in the 400 hurdle. I mean the 110 hurdles.
Nope.
The 100. There's no world we don't expect 4 guys in there.
Nope.
So let me throw a question to y'all about the 100, because the 100 men overall did a phenomenal job, but let's be real. Fred stood head and shoulders above all of them. Is it a 2-man race?
I'm gonna give him a head above him because I mean he was 76 and second was 81, so that's not head and shoulders, but.
Okay. I mean, that's fine by the numbers, but did you ever for 1 second believe that Fred wasn't winning that race? Like, was it ever in doubt?
Well, man, that's not the question. The question is head and shoulders. See, head and shoulders to me is if Fred runs 70 and they run 90, that's head and shoulders.
Okay, well that's fine.
Because when a 0.05 in the sprint world is
so then I think I may know where you're going with the question that I legitimately want to ask y'all.
Okay.
Is it Fred versus the Italian and everybody else is running for the bronze, or can someone else get it?
See, there's one thing you can't discount here, and that's experience.
Mm-hmm.
And anybody that's counting Christian Coleman out is wrong, because he's been there and he's done it. And if you watch him, he's starting to figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I don't think it's Fred versus the Italian. I do, in my opinion, Fred's the favorite. There's no doubt about that.
Sure.
Because of the way he's doing it. But you can't discount Christian. And Marvin Bracey might have something to say about this. He might. Because that's the most composed I've ever seen Marvin.
Yeah.
Now I was very impressed with the Trayvon Vermel from the semifinal. Not so much the guy from the final. I'm not sure what happened because he looked great for about 50 meters. No, you're wrong. So stop. So you're wrong.
Gonna say it anyway.
Exactly. He better not. He better not. So at the end of the day, I think that I believe the men's 100 at the Worlds will be one of the better races you see all week. That opens up the weekend. Pay your subscription. Get in front of your TVs and watch it because it's going to be epic. It is.
So Marcel Jacobs tweets at Fred Curley.
Yes.
Directly and says, "Can't wait.
Yeah.
You know, we're going to put on a show in Eugene." Okay. He runs 10-12 in Rieti at the Italian Championships. Okay.
Just fast enough to win it.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So if he does, and I'm going to use the word if he does show up in Eugene, okay, we have to be under the impression that he's ready to run.
He's ready, exactly.
Okay. I can see a scenario where he does not show up.
After putting out the tweet?
What's that?
Sure.
After going out of the way to put out the tweet?
Hey now, listen,
Sure.
In this age, and the way things are working and the way these athletes are operating, it is far more important to hold on to what you have than to go out there and lose. And I'm just saying in general, this is a pattern. We've seen this play out before. So yes, he goes and puts out the tweet, "See you in Eugene," yada, yada, yada. I'm excited if he does show up. Can't wait. Front row seat, can't wait. Let's go.
What I'm looking forward to from that perspective, right, is like, look, I like numbers. I mean, you got 1, 2, 3, 9, 7 guys. I think Jacob says the 4th fastest PB in the meet at 980, and that's actually not true, because if we include old man River from Jamaica who just ran out of his mind, right? Right? But I'm saying I wasn't including him. That's my point, right? Because he's so far removed from his PB, but he did run under 990,
985
just last week, right? So what I'm saying is, if we just look at in primes, you got 3 9.7s and a 980. Oh, I'm popping popcorn for that race, for those races, if indeed Jacob shows up and it all happens, because this is going to be fun.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The governor, I don't disagree with your larger point about, keeping what you have and losing. From an American perspective, Jacobs is already a god, man-made in Italy.
Yes.
Win or lose, he's good. I just everything about his rise to where he is says there ain't no way in hell he's not coming out here to line up.
See, but this is why I agree with the governor, though. And this is the part that we as Americans, we lose sight of sometimes. The sport is Eurocentric, and this year is a European Championship year. And I've been to Europe twice this year, and I'm telling you, half of the people that we would expect to be there are going to end up booting World Championships and focusing on European Championships.
Mm-hmm.
Well, listen. I understand that before the audience. There's Euro Championships is bigger in Europe than World Championships is.
Facts.
It just is.
It just is.
And if you ever have the ability to go to the European Championships and watch it, it will be one of the better experiences you ever have in this sport. It's a phenomenal event. They really, really, really care about that. And you all who have done this individually as athletes at that level, maybe you'll back my theory up on this and maybe you won't. I was just giving props to the Euros, right? I think, at least I felt when I was out there and when I got to experience it, I think it's such a big deal to them, Euro Championships, because they really struggle to beat us anyway. So that's their moment to shine, right? The Americans aren't here. Well, Jacobs beat the Americans. He's one of the few that can.
Yes.
So it's like, he ain't coming. Warholm is hurt. Hopefully not. He ain't coming. Those two, I feel like if they're not hurt, they're coming.
Let's look at it from this standpoint. In what world, and I'm using the word world, in what world does the World Championships come before the Commonwealth Games and the European Championships?
Right.
Please explain that to me.
I understand.
Right. Like it's so backwards that,
but it's telling you what's most important.
Exactly.
Right. The sport is incredibly Euro-centered. We've said this a million times, and the calendar always tells you what the story is.
Absolutely. Because is there not a whole half season after Europeans that we have to look forward to as well? Like this is where you start to really understand. It's like, okay, USA, you want to host the World Championships? Okay, go right ahead. Here you go. All right, we're gonna put you smack dab in the middle of July.
Yeah,
hey, that schedule works for us.
That's what works for us. Okay, I mean, so again, for Mr. Jacobs, right? He's Olympic champion. Okay, what is the priority on his schedule? What is the priority? Is it to win worlds, to back up the Olympics? Is it to show up to Europeans and put on a show? That's why I'm saying. That's why I will say this. I mean,
I have a question, Governor. Can he not do both?
He can. Yes, he can.
And in his example, there's no competition at Euro.
Right. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. That's why I think he showed. See, you watch the guy. There's some bravado to this guy, right? And so there's a lot of bravado to him, a lot of bravado to Fred.
Yeah.
There's some ego stuff going on here. And when you're tweeting at somebody, and I don't know why you tweeted Fred. I don't know if that's a smart thing to say.
Yeah.
That's a raw guy to tweet at.
As if Fred needs more
Let's
motivation.
That bear. Right. So I expect him to be here. I expect it to be a show.
Man.
And speaking with Fred and speaking with Francique said to me, I promise you, he's going to run a lot faster at Worlds.
Oof.
I saw him in the airport after the meet. Quote, he's going to run a lot faster at Worlds.
And this can't get lost in this conversation, because this is why I'm a fan of Jacobs, and this is why I think he's showing up. Right or wrong, when you're the Olympic champion, when you're a world champion, when you reach that plateau, right? Most athletes care about their legacy, right? Marcel Jacobs' legacy won't be complete without taking the world championship from Christian Coleman. Fred ain't the world champion. He's the #1 guy right now, but he ain't the champ. Everybody last year said what? Nice race, but Coleman wasn't there. He got to come here. If he comes here and beats them in that building, in the cathedral, legacy stamped forever.
Mm-hmm.
This particular championship is bigger for his legacy than the one next year or Paris or any of the other ones. He came in the cathedral and beat those two dudes on U.S. soil. That's the legacy race.
I can't get over 983, 976, 977.
What? Yeah.
It's Fred. Yeah. Fred's a psycho at this point. We all understand.
We were all around when Otto dropped that 9-8 in the first round, and we were just like, "What are you doing?"
Hell, John Smith said, "What are you doing?"
Right? Hey, easy, bucko, easy. Phenomenal stuff, man. Phenomenal. Big league.
Yeah, definitely. And, there are a lot of things that we didn't cover. So whatever came to head, whatever. Yeah, exactly. So with that, feel free to talk about it in the comments. If there's something that's going to come up, it'll come up again, I promise. Let's go ahead and transition to Would You Rather. Clyde?
Sure.
It's you.
Sure.
I know, exactly right. All right. Would you rather be in a cast on your leg or cast it on your wrist or your hand?
Wrist. I don't want to limp.
Would you rather operate a flip phone or have limited data on your smartphone?
I remember the flip phone being a positive experience for me. I operate the flip phone.
Well, as my teenager asked me, well, how do you swipe on this and how do you get to your apps on this? And I'm like, right. That's not a thing.
Limited data ain't gonna work. And you're just sitting there with the phone don't do shit.
Right. Keep putting refresh. Would you rather only train indoors or train outdoors for a season? Training, not competing or anything, just training.
Only train indoors or train outdoors full time?
Correct. Only one. You can't go back and forth.
Well, I live in California, so I'm good. I'm outside.
Got it. So you just jinxed your next season, right? Would you rather pierce your septum or your lip?
Oh my God.
The septum is what? This here?
This guy, yeah.
Or my lip?
Or your lip. This is why I'm asking.
Can I just pierce my tongue and be good?
Nope.
Okay, no. Because if you pierce your tongue, you're not on this show anymore.
No dig on anybody who has a tongue.
But if he pierces his septum, he is?
Oh, absolutely not. And that wouldn't even be my decision. See, Chu's trying to be quiet. She will not talk to anyone with a pierced septum.
Yeah, but I feel like that would be my choice though. Between that and the lip, I think I'm gonna pierce the septum.
Got it. That's funny. Would
Those
you
are
rather
terrible
be
choices.
Yes.
Would you rather be a fish or a bird?
Fish all day.
Would you rather see into the future or fix the past?
Ah.
Ooh.
You said see into the future?
Yeah, or I guess like have premonitions, be able to see it happening.
Yeah. No, I'd rather have the power to fix the past because that will affect said future, a la Back to the Future. Maybe reference, you should know it.
Would you rather coach a 10 of an athlete, like they're a top level athlete with a bad attitude, or an 8 with a great attitude? Let me give it a 6. An 8's too easy. A 6 with a great attitude.
Okay, wait, your numbers threw me off. You okay, like on a scale from
Like,
1 to 10.
Correct. A rating scale.
Professionally or collegiately?
Just coach.
No, that makes
Just coach.
that makes a difference.
It does make a difference.
I'll take the kid with the proper attitude.
Got it. Okay. My questions are done, gentlemen.
Actually, Chu, I just lied to you.
What? You taking the attitude?
I'll take the 10 with a bad attitude.
I was gonna say, I know you've
deal
taken
with
the 10 with a bad attitude. So I was like, either you're getting older and more complacent.
Nah, I can deal with it. I've dealt with it before.
You got everybody thinking.
You can only coach one of them, and you can only use the parameters that are set forward by USATF. Would you rather coach the men's 4x1 or the women's 4x1 at this year's World Championships? You can only coach one of them.
And you have to use the top 4.
Whatever their parameters are, I don't even know what.
No, the rule. He
Whatever,
said the parameters, which means I have my.
Yeah, whatever their. I don't know what the parameters are exactly, but whatever they are,
I
like
do.
if they say you're going to use top 4, you got.
I honestly, and this is a horrible reason to have this answer, but it still just speaks to the way society is. I'd rather coach the men's team because it will be seen as a more important accomplishment. Shouldn't be, but
unfortunate but true.
But that might not be gender based. That might be just the number of times the men have lost.
Sure, I'm all for taking on the biggest challenge, but on the track, the women are the biggest challenge because of the strength of the Jamaican women's team.
Yes.
But yeah,
Okay.
I'd rather take.
Your AD comes to you and says you can go to Drake relays, Penn relays, or Texas relays.
Oh God!
On your season, which one are you going to?
We ain't coming to Florida. I appreciate you, Doug. Just throw me out.
I mean, right? Like I'm going to Florida relay.
No, you're going to Tom Jones. Not Florida relays.
One of the two. Yeah. Can I just go to Gainesville and call it?
My man.
Okay, so God, all right. It's not a rapid type answer. I'm not going. Listen, I'm not going to Penn.
Okay. All right.
Texas, in theory, would have better weather. I actually really like Drake relays. I do. I like it. I think they do a good job. I think they put on a good meet, but it might be 35 remaining.
Mm-hmm.
So, I guess I go to Texas relay.
Texas relays, okay.
But begrudgingly. I do not enjoy Texas.
Okay. Would you rather attend a Too Short concert or a Jay-Z concert?
Jay-Z. Ain't even close. There's no universe where Too Short will put on a better concert than Jay-Z.
Don't sleep on Too Short.
Too Short's your homeboy though. So
Listen, I love the Bay and I love Too Short, but there is nothing that I need to see at a Too Short concert at all. From the crowd to the on-stage performance. Listen, if you want to see a Too Short concert, go to a strip club.
Oh my God.
Chew, you know I ain't.
Not wrong.
So Jay-Z will put on a better show.
Okay, that's fair. And Beyonce will probably show up. So
there you go.
Probably. All right, that was fun. Rounding out the show with heartbeat props. You know, in these trying times, personally, professionally, athletically, everything. You know, people need to hear when things are going right, and people need to highlight those who are doing right. So we're here to do that. Would anybody like to go first?
I want to send a shout heartbeat props out to everybody at the gas pumps making life decisions.
Man.
You're not kidding, man. Jeez.
I mean,
$132 to fill up my truck the other day.
I mean, people are paying full-fledged monthly bills at the gas station.
Mm-hmm.
In Tesla.
You know what? I will go first. My heartbeat props actually go out to a whole lot of people we were just talking about. Like we've discussed on this show ad infinitum how hard track and field is, yet we're sending an incredible team.
Mm-hmm.
My heartbeat props go out to all of the folks, both young, medium, and bordering on old, who are still doing all the training necessary to fight the fight, to go to world championships and try to win medals. Because, and I'm not saying this in any level of braggadociousness, like I know how hard that is, and I'll be honest, it's no less hard now than it was then. Like, yeah, technology has gotten better, but so have all the people you compete against. So, and social media is a whole nother monster. So I give all of the people who are endeavoring to do professional track, professionals and broke-fessionals. I tip my cap to you all, because to get through the gauntlet of US championships and then say, tighten the chin strap in a month, I got more for you.
I want to give my heartbeat props.
You got a fan.
I'm going to give my heartbeat props to the folks that the almost, right? I've been watching this since mid-May. The conference level, at the prelim level, at the NCAA level, and now at the USA Championships level. It's the person that has the performance of their life, the person that gives their all and just doesn't quite make it. And that just happens so much, you know, the heartache, the heartbreak of the coaches, the athletes involved, and it's hard to watch. It really is. And so my heartbeat props goes to those people, to the coaches and athletes, the parents, the siblings that have to pick them up and support them when things don't go the way they want them to go, and for having the courage to line up and go out and do it again, because it's not easy. So those are my heartbeat props this week.
I can go next if the governor wasn't ready or Chu wasn't ready. It's fine.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Mine is kind of outside the realm of, you know, our sport and all of that. I mean, I was enamored with the female performances at USA's. I shouted out some of those women that we need to, you know, be uplifting right now. But women in America took a big ass blow this past week with the dismantling of Roe v. Wade by the Supreme Court. You know, fortunately, I live in a state where that's never going to be the law of the land here in California. But for half the states in this country, women just lost the fundamental right to control their own futures and make their own decisions. And I don't know, it's wrong at every level. But I think the men in this nation need to stand up and have our women's backs on this particular issue, because we're still the majority in the Congresses, we're still the majority in the state houses and in the local political realm. And, you know, it doesn't make any sense that guns have more rights in this country than women. And as a person who was basically raised by a single mother, and, you know, I have two sisters and life partners and grandmothers and aunties, like, it makes me sick to my stomach to understand what women are going to have to endure moving forward because of that decision. I think every piece of it is wrong, and I just hope that we can find a way forward that helps as many women as possible, because it's going to be really, really bad.
My heartbeat props go out to Clyde for taking what I was going to say. Thank you very much. And scene.
and to Clyde's credit, I think we should all, as he said, get behind the movement of protecting the women of this country. Yeah. Absolutely, Clyde. Great job.
Absolutely.
Funny, related, not related is my heartbeat prop. And mentioning those who are desiring the change, I give you the props for those who are actually making actions to be the catalyst for change rather than just talking about it. And why I say that is I give the props to those who are keep being vocal about the desire of change. Because if people aren't aware of these changes that need to be made, whether it be Roe v. Wade, whether it be the Bowerman selection process, whatever these processes are, if we're not vocal and take action to it, they never become change. It's only just a what if, or they should have. So props to you all who are allowing yourselves to be strong enough and vulnerable enough to put yourself out front and be a voice for things that need to be, if not changed, at least reviewed to be changed. So keep being strong and courageous enough to bring these things to light. So, well, with that, ironically, we still managed to take up a lot of time. So thank you all for giving us your ears. We hope your ears and your eyes, I guess. I know that a lot of you are listening rather than watching sometimes. But another fun show. Thank you again to Lindon Victor. Gentlemen, thank you again for your time this evening. But with that said, you know, most of us are enjoying the most time we've spent home for the last 6 months. So please do so and enjoy that. And then otherwise, we'll see each other next time. Bye, everyone.
When the lights come on, the road just get to running. When the lights come on, opponents mess the plumbing. Heard you like it warm, hot, knife the butter. Truth pin them hard, knock them off that rebuttal. Tsunami, tidal wave to your puddle. Tough love, punch you in the arms, little brothers. Athletics, LLC, there's no others. Track and fields, pacing with pill to go further. Hey, Wile E. Coyote, it's road runners. Feels like you know us, you've been with us the whole summer. If not for this quarantine, these four corners wouldn't be here, but we here, so start learning. You gotta earn your stripes, gotta get your scars. Show you how to fight, but show us who you are. You lack experience, but still you wanna talk. And who is actually talking to? Your circle's kinda small. Heads prevail when the backbone's strong. Gotta keep it coming, no, it won't last long. Pass and failed and sell the sad song. And if you don't check yourself, then that's wrong. Just trying to give you the real that you asked for. So why you keep cutting us off to ask more? We put it in slow-mo, but you fast forward. Athletics, LLC, the task force.